on a conversation that I had no business seeing.
Yeah. Well, let's hope that the Europeans do support Ukraine and that President Trump can be persuaded it is in our interest to sign that agreement, which provides benefits to the United States in the revenue from those minerals extractions. By the way, I don't think Ukraine should have to pay us for the arms we are providing so that Ukraine can fight against Putin and deter and stop him from attacking a NATO country that would involve our troops. I think our support ought to be like the Europeans without.
Well, the Europeans loaned him the money.
Ukraine.
We granted him the money. You know that, Senator Blumenthal, right? The European money is a loan. Yeah.
And the money should come from Russian assets that have been seized, $300 billion worth of Russian assets, now mostly in Europe. And we should use those assets to pay back the United States.
I will say that, I don't know if you saw this. This literally broke right before you came on the air with me, but Zelensky just tweeted a whole bunch of stuff on X, including our meeting in Washington at the White House on Friday did not go the way it was supposed to be. It is regrettable that it happened this way. It is time to make things right. We would like future cooperation and communication to be constructive. And then he wrote, none of us wants an endless war. And he ended with this. My team and I stand ready to work under President Trump's strong leadership to get a peace that lasts. We do really value how much America has done to help Ukraine maintain its sovereignty and independence. And we remember the moment when things changed, when President Trump provided Ukraine with javelins. We are grateful for this. So, yeah. So that's where we are. Now, tonight is a big night. We're all going to be watching it on TV. Are you going to be there in the Senate when President Trump addresses everybody?
I will be. And I will have as my guest Michael Missel from Bristol, Connecticut, originally. He served as the Inspector General in the VA, the Veterans Administration, until he was fired.
Oh, boy. Wow.
So...
All right. Let's bring it back home. You bet. Let's figure this out.
Thank
you. Yeah. Senator Blumenthal, always such a pleasure to get your incredible perspective on all of this. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, as always, Lisa. Keep up the great work, and thank you.
Thank you. Senator Richard Blumenthal on the Lisa Wexler Show Live.
WICC 695.9, the voice of Connecticut. Weather update.
Sunny sky through this afternoon with a high in the upper 40s. Clouding over this evening with a shower or two moving in late in the low near 40. Showers tomorrow morning over to rain in the afternoon. It will be windy and mild. There may be a thunderstorm with a high in the mid-50s. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
Back to the download. Thanks to Smart MLS. Smart Sellers Ask, is my home on Smart MLS? The voice of Connecticut. WICC 695.9. The latest from around the corporate world. It's time for Fortune Business on WICC 695.9. The voice of Connecticut.
Warren Buffett, arguably the world's greatest investor, isn't doing much investing. Here's why. I'm Jeff Colvin of Fortune magazine with the Fortune Business Update. Buffett's company, Berkshire Hathaway, recently reported it held over $300 billion in cash at the end of last year, which is far more cash than any other company is holding and apparently more than any other company has ever held. At the same time, Berkshire's stock portfolio has shrunk to less than $300 billion. But in his annual letter, Buffett emphasized that when you include all the companies that Berkshire owns in full or in large part, including Geico, BNSF Railroad, and some 60 others, he is still invested mainly in companies. He hasn't invested all that cash because, he says, he can't find any good deals. He assured his stockholders, I have depended on the success of American businesses, and I will continue to do so. I'm Jeff Colvin.
WICC Bridgeport, WFOX Southport, WEBE HD2 Westport, WPLR HD2 New Haven, locally owned by Connoisseur Media.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Cammie McCormick. President Trump's long-threatened tariffs against Mexico and Canada went into effect today, and the trade war is already ramping up. Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
Canadians are reasonable, and we are polite, but we will not back down from a fight. Not when our country and the well-being of everyone in it is at stake.
Adrienne Bard has more from Mexico City.
Speaking in a stern voice and ticking off all Mexico has done to cooperate with the U.S. lately, Mexico's president called President Trump's tariffs offensive. She will announce both tariff and non-tariff measures on the U.S. on Sunday.
Cooperación y coordinación, sí. Subordinación, no.
Cooperation, yes, said the Mexican leader. Subordination, no. Adrienne Bard, CBS News, Mexico City.
House Speaker Mike Johnson.
I don't think anybody envisions a trade war or looks forward to that.
But the markets are reacting. The Dow is down 395 points. Michael Farr at Hightower Advisors.
Will these levels hold? Are they taking it down too much? At some point, they go to excess. But for right now, it's the direction of markets that I think are most important in interpreting how Wall Street feels about tariffs.
President Trump's speech before a joint session of Congress later will likely include his thoughts on tariffs and ending the war in Ukraine. With U.S. aid to Ukraine now paused, President Zelensky posted today on X that none of us wants an endless war. And he said Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible to work under what he called President Trump's strong leadership. His country is more vulnerable without U.S. assistance coming in. Here's Vicki Barker.
One Ukrainian official has told CBS News the country can keep on fighting for up to 6 months without further U.S. military aid, depending on the severity of Russian attacks. Russia has welcomed President Trump's move, saying it's advanced the chances for peace in Ukraine. Poland's prime minister says the U.S. freeze on military aid to Kyiv is already visible at the country's logistics hub, transferring weapons and humanitarian aid to neighboring Ukraine. Vicki Barker, CBS News, London.
Mardi Gras parades got underway today, but Louisiana, like much of the South, has an eye to the sky as severe weather is forecast from a storm system sweeping east across the nation's midsection. Meteorologist Rob Marciano is in Baton Rouge.
Even if you don't get a severe storm or a tornado coming to your area, this storm is going to be so big and expansive, there's going to be some potentially wind damage for millions of Americans across, especially the southeastern quadrant of the country.
This is CBS News.
A riddle brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What do your home and auto have in common? Progressive protects them both. It was an easy riddle. Learn more at Progressive.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
WICC 695.9, Voice of Connecticut Local News Update.
Good afternoon. I'm Chris Williams with WICC News. Some of your top news stories of the afternoon. Veterans and employees rallied outside the VA hospital in West Haven yesterday in protest of federal job cuts by the Trump administration. The group complained that thousands of probationary VA employees have been fired across the country, along with many schedulers who make appointments for veterans. WTNH-TV News 8 reported that Senator Richard Blumenthal and Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro were among the public officials at yesterday's protests.
We're seeing clinics close around the country. We're seeing operating rooms deserted. We're seeing lines for health care at facilities like this one.
It makes no sense at all, except all of these cuts are to provide those tax breaks for the richest in the world.
Blumenthal accused the Trump administration of, quote, allowing Elon Musk to give vets the middle finger. Governor Ned Lamont says it appears the purchase of hospitals in the state owned by Prospect Medical Holdings is off. Yale New Haven Health had signed an agreement to buy Waterbury, Manchester, and Rockville General Hospitals from Prospect. Lamont says it now appears Yale is planning to officially end its bid to buy the three hospitals. Yale previously sued to get out of the agreement, saying Prospect's mismanagement of the hospitals has greatly reduced their value. According to a study from the Pew Research Center, most states in New England have experienced a decline among both Christians in general and Catholics in particular. However, in Connecticut, the number of Catholics increased from 33 to 35% in the last decade. Rhode Island continues to have the highest number of Christians in general and Catholics in particular in the region. And Rolling Stones guitar player Keith Richards is being honored tomorrow with the first ever Governor's Award of Excellence. Tomorrow's award ceremony is by invitation only and is not open to the public. The award will be given to Richards by Governor Ned Lamont during a ceremony tomorrow at the Westport Library. Richards has been a resident of Weston since 1985. I'm Chris Williams with WICC News.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
Parkway, construction on either side between King Street and exit 35. Also on the Wilbur Cross north and southbound sides, construction between exit 60 and exit 55. Stay left to get through. 825 connector northbound roadwork exits 2 through 5. Left lane is out. On Route 25 northbound construction exits 7 and 6. Stay to the left to get through. Route 8 northbound construction starts at exit 18. 84 east and westbound roadwork between exits 3 and 4. Traffic report is powered by Optimum Cable. Take your business to the next level with Optimum Business Essentials. Get reliable, secure internet, connection backup, and business phone, all for just $90 a month. Visit Optimum.com/business. Call 855-2-OPTIMUM today. I'm Andrew Krause with WICC Traffic.
Clouding over this evening with a shower or two late and a low near 40. Showers early tomorrow over to rain in the afternoon. It will be a windy and mild day. There may be a thunderstorm with a high in the mid-50s. Thursday, cloudy with a high of 55. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
You're listening to Connecticut Today with Paul Piselli on WICC 600 and 95.9, the voice of Connecticut.
You folks are feisty already. We're only 7 minutes and 59 seconds into the show, and I'm already seeing it. Boy. The question of the day today, and we'll take your phone calls on it. We'll take your Facebook responses, facebook.com/voice of CT. And, of course, remember, you can now you can text us. So a lot of you folks like to use voice to text and then send it. You certainly can at the same number you call in on now, right? Got that? 203-333-9422. Got that same number. They have a new text number? No, Maud. The text number and the call-in number are the same. 203-333-9422, 333-WICC. Text us there, too. Simple question today. And as you text stuff, and in particular as you respond on Facebook at Voice of CT, let's be civil now. A lot of people are very emotional about all of this. I'm just asking a simple question. I wrote it out as simply as I can. Will you be watching President Trump's address tonight to a joint session of Congress? I should say watching or listening to. Yes, so I'll amend that on the break. But we'll get to that in a minute or later on in the show. But again, that's one of the hot issues today. Again, call at 333-9422. Text as well. Or you can go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/voice of CT. Going to watch or listen to Mr. Trump tonight. Why or why not? But I have this, and why don't we just start with this? Because it's always good, I think, to start with money. And it always comes down to, the dollar, the almighty dollar. And if you don't think it does, then you're being naive. Again, the folks at Wallet Hub have cranked out more numbers here. And Wallet Hub, again, cranking out more numbers that show Connecticut not exactly what you would call a tax haven. States with the highest and lowest tax rates. And whenever I mention this, I try to couch it this way. Do you feel you're getting your money's worth when you pay your property taxes? Whether you own that car or that condo or that duplex, or if you're a landlord and you rent and you're trying to get some income here, but you're getting hit with a lot of taxes. You're getting a high assessment from your city and town saying, hey, you're getting all this money coming in, so we want ours. So the folks at Wallet Hub, and if you have never visited that site, you should, and the internet address is exactly what it sounds like, Wallet, W-A-L-L-E-T Hub, wallethub.com, and they now have a breakdown of state by state, all 50 states, plus the D.C., the District of Columbia, the capital here. So all 51 places where you could live in the continental United States as far as highest and lowest tax rates. Now, they have four different they have an overall rank. So we'll start with Connecticut, and we'll start with this, and we'll play a little game here. And you can call or text or email as to what you think about these ratings here and whether or not you think, and maybe we're not out to trash your city or trash your town or get, crawling up the backside of the folks that run your city or town, but a basic question. Do you feel you're getting your money's worth when it comes to your taxes? And have you contemplated or have you made the decision and maybe the wheels are turning here a bit? Maybe the wheels are turning here a bit that you're saying, enough of these Connecticut taxes. I'm leaving. Whether you're at retirement age or above, or you're approaching retirement age, or you're a few years off. Are taxes enough to you to make you think, I'm going to leave here? Or as far as taxes go, I think I'm going to stick it out because I like it here. Maybe you're not a hot weather person like me. I never really could see myself as a Florida person or a Carolina person for the entire year. Maybe snowbirding, okay. But let me start with this. 203-333-9422, 333-WICC. You okay with the taxes you pay? Now, look, everybody wants lower taxes, whether you live in Bridgeport or Fairfield or Southport or Westport or Seymour, Ansonia, New Haven, Hartford. Everybody wants lower taxes. We get that. We understand that. It's human nature. The lowest amount of taxes I can pay. From whether you're a peanut vendor on the corner to whether you're a multi-billionaire, everybody wants to pay lower taxes. But are you generally okay with the taxes you pay? Do you say, I'd like to pay less, but whatever I pay, I'm all right with that? Now, when we come back, I'll start going over these numbers. But let's start this with a basic question. You can roll this around. Out of the 51 state-level localities in the U.S., 50 states plus D.C., as far as highest state and local tax burden, what do you think Connecticut ranks? So in other words, number one would be, whatever state's number one, would be the highest overall local and state tax burden, not counting federal taxes, because that's, of course, nationwide. But local and state tax burden. One is the most, 51 is the least. You tell me, where do you think Connecticut ranks on that overall number?
Just when you think we're through the worst of this winter, another cold snap hits Connecticut. It's time to warm up with the WICC JSX Big Florida Flyaway. Weekdays at 9 a.m., noon, and 3 p.m. Listen for the keyword to text and qualify to fly JSX round trip out of Westchester to the Florida destination of your choice. Naples, Miami, West Palm Beach, or Boca Raton. Plus, a hotel stay on us. It's the WICC JSX Big Florida Flyaway. Play 3 times a day and think warmer thoughts.
No part of your home is more important than the roof over your head. Hi, I'm Eddie Griffin, the owner of Brown Roofing, your local expert for roof replacement and roof repair. Water resistant, weather resistant, wind resistant, our products offer superior protection that come with a 50-year lifetime transferable warranty. Call us today at 475-445-1195 or visit us at brownroofing600.com. Brown won't let you down.
Are the taxes on your financial savings cutting into your retirement? Do you truly understand the taxes on your IRAs and 401ks? Would you like a future where your taxes are minimized and investments are sound? If you're nearing or in retirement, have at least a $250,000 portfolio, Bridgelight Financial Advisors can help. Call for a complimentary consultation. They'll show you real tax savings on your savings. 203-795-7080. 203-795-7080. Bridgelight Financial Advisors, your retirement tax strategy specialists.
Frank Pepe Pizzeria, celebrating 100 years of Abits.
My grandfather, Frank Pepe, didn't just create Abits. He created a gathering place that our family is still proud to share to this day. My mother and aunt built on his dream. Today, my siblings, cousins, and I are honored to continue the tradition. Pepe's has always been about family, ours and the generations of families who gather at our tables.
Frank Pepe Pizzeria, passionate about pizza since 1925. Visit your local Pepe's today.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose. And millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
Parkway, construction on either side between King Street and exit 35. Also on the Wilbur Cross north and southbound sides, construction between exit 60 and exit 55. Stay left to get through. 825 connector northbound roadwork exits 2 through 5. Left lane is out. On Route 25 northbound construction exits 7 and 6. Stay to the left to get through. Route 8 northbound construction starts at exit 18. 84 east and westbound roadwork between exits 3 and 4. Traffic report is powered by Optimum Cable. Take your business to the next level with Optimum Business Essentials. Get reliable, secure internet, connection backup, and business phone, all for just $90 a month. Visit Optimum.com/business. Call 855-2-OPTIMUM today. I'm Mitch Krause with WICC Traffic.
For this evening and overnight, clouding over with a shower or two late and a low near 40. Showers tomorrow morning, over to rain in the afternoon. It will be a windy and mild afternoon. There may be a thunderstorm with a high in the mid-50s. Thursday, cloudy with a high near 55. I'm meteorologist Paul Fiorek on WICC.
On your laptop, on your smart speaker, and even on your radio. No matter where or how you listen, you've got Connecticut Today with Paul Piselli on WICC 600 and 95.9, the voice of Connecticut.
Yeah, we're like a good laxative here. A little fiber in there, clean you right out. This... It's radio laxative, high in fiber, low in fat. 203-333-9422. 333-WICC. Good to see producer, engineer, news guy Chris consuming his daily fiber. He just destroyed a a banana there, which I'll be doing in about another hour and change. Yes, folks, the 4 o'clock banana happens every day. Little fiber, little good potassium in there. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. All right, so before we get to the phones, and Steve and Guilford, you'll be first up. According to Wallet Hub, they ran all the numbers. Connecticut has the third highest overall tax burden in America. Number one is Illinois, 16.58%. That's the effective total state and local tax rates on the median household there. So folks in Illinois are paying about 16.6% state and local taxes, depending upon where they live. New York is second, 14.74%. New Jersey is fourth. Connecticut is third. Sorry, looking ahead here. So Illinois 1, New York 2, Connecticut 3. So on average in the state, and listen, it may be a little lower in Bridgeport, a little higher in Wilton, Westport. This is an average. You know what that is. Connecticut folks on average are paying 14.54% of their incomes on local and state taxes combined. So there you go. The annual state and local taxes on a household in Connecticut, $13,231. Got that? $13,231. That actually puts Connecticut at number 4 on the dollar figure here, and number 3 on a percentage basis. So how about that? Little over 14.5%. So for every dollar you make, kids, or you take home, you're paying 14.5 cents per dollar on state and local taxes. You okay with that or not? Are you satisfied with the way your municipality and the state are run? You better be, because they're taking 14.5 cents on every dollar. Steve in Guilford starts us off today. Hey, Steve, how are you? What's going on?
Hi, Paul.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm as you said, a Guilford resident.
Yeah.
And we don't have a municipal trash pickup.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, I got to pay $42 a month for a trash pickup. But Guilford has a little tax break by your income.
Yeah.
So you're picking up. But then if I take money out of a 401k and add on my taxes,
yeah,
because it goes to medical, that's going to be, Connecticut. And then there's too many social programs. Now he's going to get daycare benefit, and he's going to charge the employers. What's the incentive for companies to move here?
Well, again,
they got high utilities,
yeah,
added taxes. I don't get it.
Yeah, and Steve, you're breaking up a little. I have to let you go. But, Steve, that's a good question. Are we heading toward – thank you, Steve. Always good to hear from you. And, yeah, I remember the times when I was a homeowner and I had to pay for private trash pickup, which Steve said for him, what did he say, $42 a month. So that's about $500 a year, $10 a week to get your trash picked up. But a lot of people are – I don't know. That's another question. Do you prefer private trash pickup or municipal? But to Steve's point, is this all making Connecticut unattractive? Because remember, if a business looks to move here, not only does the business owner or the board of directors or somebody look at this and say, well, what are my concrete operating costs per se for my factory or my assembly shop or my assembly line or, my office here. But what about my workers? Hey, we're moving out of Illinois and we're going to go to Connecticut. Well, what's the cost here? So again, as a percentage of the money you have disposable to you, Connecticut right now, with everything else, like Steve said, including on top of it, the sky-high electric rates, number 2 or number 3 in the country, depending on how you measure it. Along with that, Connecticut folks have the 3rd highest overall local and state tax burden in America at 14.54%. Basically, $14.54 of every $100 you have available to you goes to state and local taxes in Connecticut. Now, again, you got to pay taxes. I understand that. I get that. That's not the question here. But do you feel you're getting your money's worth? Especially if, like Steve, you're saying, well, I paid this, that, and the other for police and fire and EMTs and the school system in my city and town. But then I also got to put out for, private trash pickup here. And some cities and towns do that because they don't want to add to, the local payroll here. So again, 203-333-9422, 333-WICC. And again, if you own a median-priced, kind of an average or median, middle-of-the-road home here in Connecticut, you're paying $13,231 a year in taxes. You okay with that? Are you saying, hey, so that's what, $13 a year? That's, I'm doing this roughly about $500 a week, around that, if I figure it right. Yeah, no, less than that, Paul. No, $13,000 a year, about $1,100 a month. So roughly about $275 a week. You okay with that? I mean, because think about that. And sometimes we look at taxes and say, yeah, well, got to pay them. But, and I'm not besmirching any public sector, employees or anything, but that's basically a decent used car every year. $13,200 and change. So essentially, just to live in the state, on average, you're forking out $13 large a year for your municipal and state services.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now traffic.
Parkway, construction on either side between King Street and exit 35. Also on the Wilbur Cross north and southbound sides, construction between exit 60 and exit 55. Stay left to get through. 825 connector northbound roadwork exits 2 through 5. Left lane is out. On Route 25 northbound construction exits 7 and 6. Stay to the left to get through. Route 8 northbound construction starts at exit 18. 84 east and westbound roadwork between exits 3 and 4. Traffic Report is powered by Optimum Cable. Take your business to the next level with Optimum Business Essentials. Get reliable, secure internet, connection backup, and business phone, all for just $90 a month. Visit Optimum.com/business. Call 855-2-OPTIMUM today. I'm Andrew Krause with WICC Traffic.
Clouding over this evening with a shower or two late, a low near 40. Showers early tomorrow, over to rain in the afternoon. It will be a windy and mild day. There may be a thunderstorm with a high in the mid-50s. Thursday, cloudy with a high of 55. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
Selling your home is a numbers game. The more potential buyers who see it, the greater the opportunity to sell. And when your home is listed on Smart MLS, more than 21,000 realtors see it, and so do all their buyers. Suddenly, the number of people looking at your home starts to grow by a lot. More realtors sharing your listing, more people seeing your home, more offers coming in, and maybe even more cash in your pocket. Smart move, right? Ask your realtor. Is my house on Smart MLS? Smart MLS, the smart way to sell your home.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
May I help you?
I just wanted to request a late checkout, please.
Of course. That's $30 per hour for up to 4 hours.
Huh. Okay, but if you can offer a late checkout, then that probably means no one is staying in that room. So if it's empty, maybe I can just stay a few extra hours.
Oh, aren't you adorable?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Everyone has a community, a neighborhood, school,
kids' teams, where you worship, work out, or any other place or group where you choose to belong. Communities can provide support when you need it, and even when you don't know you do. Like when it comes to preventing underage drinking and other substance use. Community members can be your eyes and ears when you're not with your kids and alert you to signs of potential problems. Learn more at talktheyhearyou.samhsa.gov.
This is WICC 695.9, the voice of Connecticut.
CBS News Brief. With U.S. tariffs now in place, Mexico and Canada are responding, and Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau addressed the American public today.
Your government has chosen to do this to you. As of this morning, markets are down, and inflation is set to rise dramatically all across your country.
As President Trump prepares to address a joint session of Congress, Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren criticized his decision to pause aid to Ukraine.
These are people who are just trying to defend themselves against an aggressor. And the United States, for the first time since World War II, is aligning itself with the aggressor.
Mardi Gras parades hit the streets of New Orleans today. But severe weather could still force cancellations. Millions of Americans are under alerts for dust storms, tornadoes, even blizzard conditions. CBS News Brief, I'm Cammie McCormick.
WICC 695.9, Voice of Connecticut Local News Update.
Good afternoon. I'm Chris Williams with WICC News. Some of your top news stories of the afternoon. A Shelton man has pleaded guilty to charges that he used fraud to obtain $145,000 in coronavirus relief funds. Prosecutors say 38-year-old Vincenzo Minutolo defrauded the Paycheck Protection Program by overstating the annual gross income of his company, City Sounds Productions. Minutolo was accused of providing fraudulent IRS tax documents during the loan process that had not actually been filed with the IRS. He will be sentenced in May. Ansonia police are investigating after a video was posted on social media depicting people trying to rob a man after a minor car crash. The video shows people demanding $500 from the man after the crash Saturday night on East Main Street. The man's wallet and phone were taken during the incident, which played out in front of a crowd of people from a nearby bar. Despite all the spectators, police say not one 911 call was placed over the incident. A Bridgeport teenager accused of killing her boyfriend in an accidental shooting will be tried in court as an adult. 17-year-old Michaela Brown is charged with first-degree manslaughter and first-degree assault in the death of 16-year-old Daniel Grant. He was shot in the face when the pair were handling the weapon in a bedroom of a home on Pacific Street and discharged. Brown was 15 years old at the time of the shooting, and she remains free on a promise to appear in court. A Connecticut veteran who was laid off last month as a result of President Donald Trump's federal workforce purge will be in attendance this evening as Trump addresses a joint session of Congress. Gabriel Delatry served in the United States Marine Corps and was 5 days away from securing permanent employment status at the IRS before getting laid off. Delatry will be attending the address as the guest of Connecticut Congressman Joe Courtney, who has introduced legislation that would reinstate veterans who have lost their jobs as a result of the purge. The bill is called the Protect Veterans Jobs Act, which would require any veteran who was removed or dismissed from civil service after January 20th to be eligible to get their job back. President Trump's address is tonight at 9 p.m. Yesterday, Norwalk Mayor Harry Rilling has announced he will not be seeking re-election this coming November after holding the office for the past 12 years. Before becoming mayor in 2013, Rilling spent 41 years in the Norwalk Police Department, including 17 years as police chief. In a conversation with News 12, Rilling looked back fondly on his years of service.
It's been a wonderful ride, wonderful journey. It's time to consider moving on and doing something that maybe you enjoy, give you a little bit more time with your family, spend more time with my wife.
Rilling's current term will end on February 1st of 2026. Westport Republican First Select Woman Jen Tooker is running for governor. Tooker made the announcement yesterday saying Connecticut families have been burdened by high taxes and rising costs for years. She also says the state has been burdened by a state government that lacks accountability. Tooker is one of several Republicans who have announced a bid for the office, including New Britain Mayor Aaron Stewart and former U.S. Senate candidate Matt Corey. Tooker is running on a platform of fiscal responsibility and, if elected, plans to address energy costs, state employee costs, and turn Connecticut cities into tech hubs. Tooker has previously served on the Board of Finance and the Board of Education. Democratic incumbent Ned Lamont has not revealed whether he will be seeking a third four-year term. The baby seal that was found in the middle of a New Haven street last month has died. Officials at Mystic Aquarium say the gray seal pup named Chappie died yesterday from severe digestive issues. The young dehydrated seal had apparently come ashore near Long Wharf in New Haven and had crawled into the middle of Chapel Street before being rescued. Staff at Mystic Aquarium say they tried to give him the best possible care and are devastated by the outcome, but that Chappie was surrounded by love until the end. Longtime Connecticut resident Linda McMahon has been confirmed to President Donald Trump's cabinet as U.S. Secretary of Education. The former WWE executive was confirmed to the post by the U.S. Senate yesterday. McMahon briefly served on the State Board of Education over a decade ago. McMahon has been criticized by Democrats for her lack of experience and for her support of Trump's plan to abolish the U.S. Department of Education. And Governor Ned Lamont is vetoing a supplemental bill that would provide $40 million to school districts for special education. Lamont announced the veto yesterday at the state capitol while wearing a sling on his right arm, which he broke in a fall during a recent trade mission to India. NBC attended a press conference where the governor discussed his decision.
I think it's a wrong way to budget. Pay now, buy it now, pay later. We'll figure out how we're going to do it. Frankly, I was just a little surprised because we've had a very strong collaborative relationship with the leadership.
Lamont also vetoed a bill that would have allocated nearly $3 million to nonprofits that have been targeted for cuts by the Trump administration. The special education bill passed the legislature with strong bipartisan support. I'm Chris Williams with WICC News.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
Parkway, construction on either side between King Street and exit 35. Also on the Wilbur Cross north and southbound sides, construction between exit 60 and exit 55. Stay left to get through. 825 connector northbound roadwork exits 2 through 5. Left lane is out. On Route 25 northbound construction exits 7 and 6. Stay to the left to get through. Route 8 northbound construction starts at exit 18. 84 east and westbound roadwork between exits 3 and 4. I'm Matt Krause with WICC Traffic.
For this evening and overnight, clouding over with a shower or two late and a low near 40. Showers tomorrow morning over to rain in the afternoon. It will be a windy and mild afternoon. There may be a thunderstorm with a high in the mid-50s. Thursday, cloudy with a high near 55. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
Just a man, a microphone, and a lot of thoughts. Connecticut Today with Paul Pacelli, WICC 600 and 95.9, the voice of Connecticut.
And you have all manner of ways that you can express your thoughts here. Of course, you can email me, Paul, P-A-U-L, Paul, at voiceofct.com, or you can call us and get on the air with your wonderful dulcet tones at 203-333-9422. 333-WICC, or you can use that now to text me or text any one of us here, myself, John and Chris, Lisa, Melissa, 203-333-9422. Either just type it out on your phone screen there and then send it to that number, or use a voice to text, which I guess is what people are doing. You speak your piece, you speak your message there, and send it to 333-9422. Starting with taxes here today. A lot more we're going to get into. I guess state Democrats don't still understand why Trump won. We'll get to that next hour. The definition of insanity. Don't back away from something even if it's hurting you. But speaking of insanity, Connecticut, our wonderful little state of Connecticut, about 3.5 million people, not that big of a state. You can traverse it corner to corner in about 2 hours as the crow flies. Connecticut, third highest overall tax burden in America. God, what are we doing? We got to get to number one here. God, if you're going to suck, do it better than anybody else. I said that a couple of weeks ago, right? Connecticut, we have the second highest electric rates in America. We're only $10 a month, behind Hawaii. So come on, let's go. Eversource, come on. UI, raise it up a little bit more. We got to be number one there. And we're third. We're a bronze medal right now for overall tax burden. 14.54%. So in other words, state and local taxes are taking $14.54 of every $100 you have. Maybe you're okay with that. Look, I'm in a low tax town, so I really can't complain. You know where I live, and we've edged up a little bit more. I got another revaluation of my condo the other day. Are you folks getting that, by the way? Is your city and town sending out that little note you get, Office of the Assessor, right? You see that, you say, here it comes. This is never good. And God bless the tax assessors. They do their job. I understand it. But I got mine, a couple of months ago, Office of the Assessor. Oh, that's great. My condo's been assessed at $6,000 more this year. All right. But again, Connecticut is at a 14.54%. With annual state and local taxes on a median state household. That means in the middle. It's not average. It's median. You're in the middle. There's half of folks above you and half below you. So it's 14.54%, which translates out, do the math. I always say the math wins. Median taxes in this state, $13,231. Yeah. My uncle used to say, it's a lot of scratch, kid. Henry's with us this afternoon. Henry, good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Hey, Paulie. You're the important one. How are you?
I'm getting along, Henry. I can't complain.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, only because I've lived here my entire life.
Yeah.
And I don't like to travel, but I have.
Uh-huh.
Florida a few times like everybody else. Texas.
Yeah.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Places like that.
Mm-hmm.
And just being nosy while I'm there.
Sure.
I'm not looking for work, but just being nosy and like that.
Yeah.
If you have an education, a degree, and educated in the Northeast here, and Connecticut right at the top of that, you can get a job. I'm not saying any kind of job, but let's say teaching, let's say nursing, let's say anything that requires
training,
upper level,
professional training,
upper level of common sense.
Yeah.
Just an upper level of common sense. And there's reasons why we stay here.
Yeah.
And if we have a minute, I just want to say, because I'm living here. Now, because I've been in these other places, and it's great because you're on vacation.
Yeah.
You're at dinner every night.
You're not living there,
everything.
though. You're not living
waking
there.
up at 11. You're waking up at 11 or 30.
In
What
the
kind of an omelet do you
in the
want
hotel,
now?
yeah.
Yeah, all that. So, but then I say, if I was here forever, boy, would I miss a pizza like a Connecticut. Would I miss, because I want to, and as I'm waiting for you to answer me, I'm thinking even things that that are just a realization in my head. We in here in Connecticut, we are 10 minutes, sometimes only 5 minutes, but 10 minutes away from, no matter where we are, not a jet, we're 10 minutes away in a regular car ride to some of the best hospitals in the country.
That is, Henry. That is a major a major.
They fly in.
Yeah.
They fly in from Nebraska for me, with
Mm-hmm.
their tag ticket, and we're also 5-10 minutes from, let's say, water.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah.
There's water. It's not a beach. But you only got to drive 5 minutes into Connecticut.
Henry,
and you will
I
into
said this.
water.
I said this last week, Henry.
There's
think
reasons
about
why we stay
well,
here.
yeah. I mean, think about the millions of people, literally millions of people in the middle of the country who can't take a walk, like you say, or a 5-minute drive to the shoreline, or get some decent seafood. Think about that.
Oh yeah. They have to travel to go to a beach, and they don't even get that. They never get to a beach.
Yeah.
They never, to any kind of water. So I mean, there's things that we take for granted, and you don't realize it until you leave here. So just we're a 5-minute ride away from the best hospitals in the country, a 5-minute ride away from water and parks.
Yeah,
things that we take for granted.
No, and Henry, you're right. I do have to move along because of time, but that's the point that Henry brings up is paying according to these figures here from Wallet Hub. Does the expense of Connecticut in state and local taxes, state taxes and local property taxes and other fees of $13,231 a year on average, is that eased, as Henry says, by the stuff that we can just have access to?
When you want the top Connecticut headlines when you wake up, you know to come to one place. That's Melissa in the Morning. Live interviews with local leaders and breaking news. You've got it on Melissa in the Morning. Plus, traffic and weather every 10 minutes. Melissa in the Morning is everything you need on your ride into work. Melissa Sheketoff, every weekday from 5 to 10 on Melissa in the Morning on the Voice of Connecticut, WICC 600 and 95.9.
The Connecticut Lottery reminds you that gambling can be a fun form of entertainment, but it's not risk-free, so it's important to play responsibly. Make sure you understand how the games work, know the odds, set time limits, and take breaks. To find out more, visit ctlottery.org or responsibleplayct.org. Must be 18 or older to purchase lottery and 21 or older to place sports wagers. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org.
Jackson Hewitt wants you to save money on tax prep. We're saving money by having our intern rap in this commercial.
Don't stress, Jackson Hewitt's got expert tax prep, $149 or less. Yo, some tax guys lie about price. What? They got hidden fees, that ain't nice. Ain't nice. Don't ignore MC Kevin's rhyme, cause this deal's for a limited time. $149.
For tax prep that's $149 or less, hurry into Jackson Hewitt today.
No cap.
Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
Pure opportunity. It's what Michigan is all about. The opportunity to do more. The opportunity to connect with the best talent. The opportunity for people of all backgrounds to grow and expand their business. The opportunity to live and work in a state where paychecks go further. The opportunity is now, and it's right here in Michigan. Visit MichiganBusiness.org to discover all the ways the Michigan Economic Development Corporation can help your business thrive.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
Parkway, construction on either side between King Street and exit 35. Also on the Wilbur Cross north and southbound sides, construction between exit 60 and exit 55. Stay left to get through. 825 connector northbound roadwork exits 2 through 5. Left lane is out. On Route 25 northbound construction exits 7 and 6. Stay to the left to get through. Route 8 northbound construction starts at exit 18. 84 east and westbound roadwork between exits 3 and 4. I'm Andrew Krause with WICC Traffic.
Clouding over this evening with a shower or two late and a low near 40. Showers early tomorrow over to rain in the afternoon. It will be a windy and mild day. There may be a thunderstorm with a high in the mid-50s. Thursday, cloudy with a high of 55. I'm meteorologist Paul Bjork on WICC.
Get the straight story on everything that's going on around our state. Connecticut Today with Paul Pacelli is back on WICC 600 and 95.9, the voice of Connecticut.
All right, hanging out with you here at 48 past the hour, 203-333. 9422-333 WICC, of course, WICC 600 AM, 95.9 FM, voiceofct.com, and on video now, so you can check out, see what the studio looks like, or watch me a little bit do the show, either at our WICC YouTube channel or twitch.tv, so you can go there. Everybody talks about Florida, right? And a lot of people out there, you probably have, as Henry said, have been there a few times. Maybe you've thought about living there. Maybe you're a snowbird. I have friends of mine who are snowbirders. One of my former college roommates and his wife, they like to spend the winters in Florida, and then they spend their summers in the other part of the year on a lake in Wisconsin, because they moved just out of the just across the line from Illinois to Wisconsin, and they save big on their taxes. So if you're wondering, and these are new numbers here that we've culled here from Wallet Hub, check it out, Wallet Hub, WALLETHUB, wallethub.com online. In Connecticut, your average tax burden on a median state household, in other words, in the middle of the road, that's what median is. That's why they call it a median divider on a highway. You have you have 2 lanes going one way, 2 lanes going the other way, and there's a concrete median known as a Jersey barrier in the middle. So in Connecticut, the annual state and local taxes on a median household there average out to be about $13,200, right? And now all you need to do is you scroll down and you find out why some people, and this isn't the big decider for everybody, it's not. But you scroll down and you see, for example, Florida. Now, again, Florida's got different ways of taxing you. I guess they have tolls down there. There are other taxes and fees. I've never paid any real taxes down there. I've only been to Florida 3 or 4 times in my life. One was for a convention, where I never left the hotel because it was stupid hot. 2 other times I did leave Florida for a cruise, and that was nice. But the median yearly taxes on a home in Florida, $6,700. I'm sorry, 66. Now that's a median. There are plenty of properties in Florida that are more expensive and plenty that are less expensive. Some people have a mansion. Some people live in a trailer park. I'm not judging. The person in the trailer park could be a saint, and the person in the mansion could be a reprobate dirtbag. We know how that works. But, yeah, the money matters to people. 203-333-9422, 333-WICC is the great Randy Newman used to say, it's money that matters in the USA. So the median Florida yearly tax outlay for local and state taxes in Florida, $6,700. Round figure. I'm rounding it up or down a few dollars. $6,700. And there are a lot of people who say, well, I never moved down there. It's too red. It's a MAGA state. It's a backward state. Well, okay, that's fine. But keep in mind that it's costing, and I'm not telling you have to move to Florida. But the folks that you're laughing at down there, on average, are paying about $7,000 a year less in taxes than you're paying on average. Is money the only factor for you, or is it one of the factors? And do you snowbird based solely on costs? Because again, according to these figures here, we find folks in Connecticut, the Constitution state, are the 3rd highest taxed state in America. Number 1 is Illinois. Number 2 is New York. Connecticut is 3. New Jersey is 4. Pennsylvania is 5. Kansas is 6. Nebraska is 7. Iowa is 8. Ohio is 9. And Texas is 10. By percentage, this is by percentage, the effective total state and local tax rates on where you live in the state. And in Connecticut, on average, median, there's more people paying less. There's some more people paying more, 14.54%. So there you go. In case you're wondering, the lowest tax burden in America by percent, Alaska, 6.77%. Second lowest, Delaware. Third lowest, Wyoming. Number 4 lowest, Idaho. Montana, number 5. And then rounding out the top 10 lowest tax burden states, Nevada, Colorado, Florida, as we mentioned, South Carolina, and the District of Columbia, which kind of surprises me. But again, understand something, too. When for someplace like D.C., the overall tax rate may be lower, but look at the overall value of those D.C. homes. I mean, it's through the roof. That's why you have, some members of Congress living with each other, like going back to their college days. Because remember, and I know not everybody in Congress is a multimillionaire. You get to Congress, you're making about $170,000 a year. You're losing half of that to taxes. So they can get down to $90,000 in cash. And have you looked at the rents in D.C.? If you want to be anywhere safe in D.C., have you looked at the rents? No wonder some of these early Congress electees live together. So are you happy with paying? Are you okay with paying the third highest by percentage tax rates in America, along with dealing with the second highest utility rates, unless, like me, you live in one of the 10 or so municipalities or areas that, thank God, have our own electric grid. Dave in Fairfield. Hey, David, how are you?
Hi, Paul. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
Listen, just not to rub salt in the wound here, but, one thing your listeners might want to know. In the state of Connecticut, we rank 5th in the most expensive automobile insurance annually.
Trust me, I know.
And I just got a bill from my insurance carrier going up 40%. And I said to my agent, why?
Yeah.
And he says, when the police stop a car, nobody has insurance.
Yeah.
And so we're paying for everyone with no insurance.
Sure.
Okay?
We see it in the news and hear it all the time, Dave. And I just, I check my stuff online every so often, and my car's getting older. I haven't had a ticket in 12 or 15 years. I have a garden variety 4-door sedan, and I went up $30 a month. Hello.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just keep piling it on.
Yeah. Exactly. And
you know what they say?
Yeah.
The state of Connecticut, it's working hard to make your life harder.
Yeah. And Dave, thank you for the call. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's another thing. Car insurance, because again, many of our fine residents of this state, no insurance. How often do I read releases from the Norwalk PD and the Waterbury PD and the Bridgeport PD? Upon arrest, the suspect was found to have an expired license, an expired registration, and no insurance. Geez, I'm just stunned, I'll tell you, stunned.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
Parkway, construction on either side between King Street and exit 35. Also on the Wilbur-Cross north and southbound sides, construction between exit 60 and exit 55. Stay left to get through. 825 connector northbound roadwork exits 2 through 5. Left lane is out. On Route 25 northbound construction exits 7 and 6. Stay to the left to get through. Route 8 northbound construction starts at exit 18. 84 east and westbound roadwork between exits 3 and 4. I'm Andrew Krause with WICC Traffic.
For this evening and overnight, clouding over with a shower or two late and a low near 40. Showers tomorrow morning over to rain in the afternoon. It will be a windy and mild afternoon. There may be a thunderstorm with a high in the mid-50s. Thursday, cloudy with a high near 55. I'm meteorologist Paul Fiorek on WICC.
When disaster strikes, whether it's a house fire, furnace malfunction, or burst pipes, trust me, Felicia, the owner of Robin Hood Adjusters, to be your advocate. With over a decade of experience, I specialize in increasing the settlement value of your insurance claim and shielding you from unethical lowball offers by the insurance giants. Visit RobinHoodAdjustersCT.com and see how I can help protect your interests and get you the compensation you deserve. At Robin Hood Adjusters, I work for you.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
Back to the news and talk. Thanks to Smart MLS. Smart sellers ask, is my home on Smart MLS? The voice of Connecticut. WICC's 695.9. It's Connecticut Today with Paul Piselli.
All right, got a couple of calls hanging on. We'll get to you folks right after the news at the top of the hour from CBS News and locally from Chris Williams. And by the way, either via the phone here at 333-9422, you can call, you can text, or you can email me, Paul, P-A-U-L, Paul, at voiceofct.com. Do you plan to watch and or maybe listen to the president's address to Congress tonight? Should be interesting, and it airs tonight live at 9 right here.
WICC Bridgeport, WFOX Southport, WEBE HD2 Westport, WPLR HD2 New Haven, locally owned by Connoisseur Media.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. The U.S. tariffs are in place against Canada and Mexico, and markets are on edge. J.D. Vance defended the step today.
We need to see real engagement on the fentanyl issue, on the drug issue. That is fundamentally the underlying element of these tariffs.
The response from an angry Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau.
Far less than 1% of fentanyl flows and less than 1% of illegal crossings into the United States comes from Canada.
Mexico is also threatening retaliatory tariffs. CBS's Jill Schlesinger says as things ramp up, it's the American consumer who will feel the pain.
So much of our fruits and vegetables, they come from Mexico. I think that's where you start to see the prices jump pretty quickly with perishable items.
Jeff Gilbert has more from Detroit.
Car makers have stockpiled parts and vehicles in advance of the tariffs, but analyst Stephanie Brindley of S&P Global Mobility says vehicle production could be affected within a week.
I think we're going to see some plants drop shifts. We're going to see some plants just slow build rates for a little bit.
Brindley says it's very likely we could see some investment announcements that could allow the tariffs to be lifted or moderated within a few weeks. Jeff Gilbert, CBS News, Detroit.
President Trump has paused U.S. assistance to Ukraine. Now President Zelensky has responded, as Eleanor Watson reports.
Zelensky just posted what could be considered a makeup tweet about the Oval Office meeting on Friday, calling that meeting regrettable and saying he's ready to agree to an immediate end to airstrikes and an exchange of prisoners with Russia if Russia agrees to do the same.
The Atlantic Council's Michael Bossack is in Ukraine.
The big loss for Ukraine would be really two things: the loss of those Patriot defense missiles that protect Ukrainian skies, but also intelligence sharing, helping the Ukrainians strike deeper inside Russia, monitoring Russian troop movements, and also, of course, incoming missiles.
Sabina Castelfranco has an update on the Pope from Rome.
Following a respiratory crisis on Monday, the Pope spent the day resting and was breathing with just the help of extra oxygen. Doctors say the Pope's prognosis remains guarded. At night, he is using a ventilation mask.
There is a powerful storm system sweeping across the U.S. Meteorologist Rob Marciano says they're watching in the south.
Down I-10 through New Orleans and Gulfport, and then continuing overnight into Georgia, and then the Carolinas tomorrow. All the while, the backside of this thing has got blizzard warnings up, and we're looking for several inches of snow to fall in places like Omaha, Nebraska, and winds blowing 40, 50, maybe 60 miles an hour.
This is CBS.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
WICC 695.9, Voice of Connecticut Local News Update.
Good afternoon. I'm Chris Williams with WICC News. Your top news story of the afternoon. A Bridgeport teenager accused of killing her boyfriend in an accidental shooting will be tried in court as an adult. 17-year-old Michaela Brown is charged with first-degree manslaughter and first-degree assault in the death of 16-year-old Daniel Grant. He was shot in the face when the pair were handling the weapon in a bedroom of a home on Pacific Street, and it discharged. Brown was 15 years old at the time of the shooting, and she remains free on a promise to appear in court. Ansonia police are investigating after a video was posted on social media depicting people trying to rob a man after a minor car crash. The video shows people demanding $500 from the man after the crash Saturday night on East Main Street. The man's wallet and phone were taken during the incident, which played out in front of a crowd of people from a nearby bar. Despite all the spectators, police say not one 911 call was placed over the incident. The baby seal that was found in the middle of a New Haven street last month has died. Officials at Mystic Aquarium say the gray seal pup named Chappie died yesterday from severe digestive issues. The young dehydrated seal had apparently come ashore near Long Wharf in New Haven and had crawled into the middle of Chapel Street before being rescued. Staff at Mystic Aquarium say they tried to give him the best possible care and are devastated by the outcome, but that Chappie was surrounded by love until the end. Rolling Stones guitar player Keith Richards is being honored tomorrow with the first ever Governor's Award of Excellence. Tomorrow's award ceremony is by invitation only and is not open to the public. The award will be given to Richards by Governor Ned Lamont during a ceremony tomorrow at the Westport Library. Richards has been a resident of Weston since 1985. Now is your chance for the WICC JSX Big Florida Flyaway. Text WAVE, W-A-V-E, right now to 203-333-9422 to qualify to fly JSX out of Westchester to Florida to a destination of your choice. And that includes Naples, Miami, West Palm Beach, or Boca, plus hotel. All you have to do is text WAVE to 203-333-9422. Good luck. I'm Chris Williams, WICC News.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
95 northbound about a half an hour from Stamford going through Fairfield, and the Parkway overall is even easier than that. 95 southbound busy but moving through Long Wharf into West Haven. Traffic report is powered by MJ Thomas Jewelers. Looking to buy or sell gold? Visit MJ Thomas Jewelers in Stratford for expert service and great deals. Their knowledgeable staff is there to assist with all your gold needs. For more information, visit mjthomas.com. I'm Andrew Krause with WICC Traffic.
Clouding over this evening with a shower or two late and a low near 40. Showers early tomorrow over to rain in the afternoon. It will be a windy and mild day. There may be a thunderstorm with a high in the mid-50s. Thursday, cloudy with a high of 55. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
You're listening to Connecticut Today with Paul Piselli on WICC 600 and 95.9, the voice of Connecticut.
So are you okay, happy, content, feeling all right about the total tax burden that you have to lay out to both the state of Connecticut and your local city or town to, of course, pay for, on the local level, you're paying for schools, you're paying for road crews in your city and town, you're paying for EMT, first responders, firefighters, police in all 169 cities and towns, the great little fiefdoms here in Connecticut. Well, according to Wallet Hub, which is a really good website, they do a bunch of financial stuff, and it's very relatable to people. Go to wallethub.com, and they have their annual estate tax rate thing. They do this every year. They crunch numbers, and you find out that Connecticut pays, as one of our callers said, along with increasing auto insurance rates, vehicle insurance rates, and, of course, we talk about it all the time, the electric rates in the state, we have the third highest overall tax burden per household. So the state and local taxes on a median household here in Connecticut. So in other words, the median household, I think, in this state is about $340,000. That's the number I saw a couple of weeks ago. Across the U.S., it's about $304,000. Here in Connecticut, it's $340,000. So basically, that's the median home price here. So the median outlay for taxes here in the state, $13,231 a year. And that's about an extra $2,000 over what most Americans pay. You okay with that? And maybe you are. Of course, then you scroll down on this list and you see why people move. Particularly, and you probably either have friends or some relatives or whatever in Florida. And in Florida, they are the eighth best state for average property and state taxes here at $6,028. So in Florida, now again, there are taxes in other ways in Florida. The sales tax is higher from what I understand, whatever. But in Florida, the average homeowner there, the average household, lays out about 8.7% for state and local taxes. Here in Connecticut, it's 14.5%. What do you think of that? Lewis in Terryville starts us off. Lewis, good afternoon. How are you?
Hey, pretty good. How are you?
I'm good, Lewis. What's up?
I'll be watching Trump tonight, that's for sure.
Okay.
I just wanted to say that.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing, the car taxes in Connecticut. I mean, it's crazy. I just got my car taxes; they went up again.
Really?
In Plymouth, Connecticut. So it's awful. The other thing is the insurances.
Yeah.
I have not seen a low insurance in a long time, and I have no tickets, I have no accidents, I have nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm paying sky high for 3 cars.
Wow.
I just took off the full coverage on them because I couldn't afford it anymore. I cannot afford it. And the other thing is, you know, the rents here are going crazy. Mm-hmm. I have lived here all my life. Now, I have been out of state. I've lived out of state. A few, states I have throughout my lifetime. I'm 65 right now. I decided to take Social Security. And the worst thing I did, because obviously I cannot retire. I don't have a 401k, which I did at once, but I lost when I lost the house during the Obama administration with all the crapola that happened, with all the banks and so forth. That's a different story. We lost our property. But, I lost my 401k because I used that to actually try to save the house. Unfortunately, what a mistake.
Yeah.
But that's what happens. So, unfortunately, where am I going to go with $1,300 a month unless I just continue working till I croak? In the state of Connecticut, with all these taxes, $1,300, and let me just emphasize the fact that I am living in the cheapest rent in Plymouth, Connecticut, and between the rent and now the light bill, where at one beginning I was paying for both $700, I'm up to $1,200 right now. How nice! How nice! So that's and I heard the guy saying about Wisconsin, or somebody there about Wisconsin. It is true that taxes are very low in Wisconsin, but no car taxes. But they get you one way or the other, because if you live in the city of Wisconsin, of Milwaukee, in Wisconsin, where I lived at one time for a year and a half.
Okay.
This is the way they get you. You have to pay in order to have your car alternative parking, which is what they have there.
Yeah.
You have to buy a sticker that now every 3 months costs you $100. Oh. And if you don't have that sticker, guess what? Your car gets towed.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, Lewis, thank you. Well, you're breaking up a little bit, but I did get the call, Lewis. Thank you. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, and again, this is why people are angry, and this is why some people will say to you if you're angry, but we have to pay for this, and but we have to pay for that. To which you maybe sometimes, not you and my last caller, but you rhetorically look at them and say, well, when does it end? See, because I wonder when you have legislative leaders and even local leaders, mayors, first selectmen, first select women, whatever, first select persons, and you have mayors and you have a governor, and, like, look, Ned Lamont is, listen, the guy's not dumb. He's got some idiots in his party up there in Hartford, but when does it end? You nickel and dime people. They look at their auto registration or whatever, and they fee for this, fee for that, green fee this, disposal fee that. And, the governor's saying, hey, they're going to eliminate the licensing now that professionals have to pay every year. It's going to save the people between $8 and $20 million. Is he sure that his own caucus is going to be all right with that? Don't be so sure, because it doesn't work that way oftentimes in the nickel and dime state of Connecticut.
There's so many in our community who make a positive impact, from innovators and leaders to local businesses and nonprofits. They do so much for Connecticut. We will recognize them with the WICC Impact Awards, and we need your help. Submit your nominations now across 6 categories at voiceofct.com. Then join us on May 14th at Fasano's Four Seasons in Stratford as we recognize your nominees. Honor those who've helped to make Connecticut better with the WICC Impact Awards.
Columbia Dental's Norwalk office is your go-to family dentist. They offer comprehensive care with general dentists and an oral surgeon. Conveniently located at 91 East Avenue, they're affiliated with the Columbia Implant Center in Manchester, operating 7 days a week, including holidays, to manage any dental emergency. With their in-house digital dental lab, they provide top-tier dental services, including prosthetics, ensuring all your needs are met. For more information, visit columbiadental.com and experience unparalleled dental care.
AB's Falafel announces this $16 weekday lunch special. Come for lunch and enjoy the most flavorful falafel sandwich, chicken shawarma sandwich, or beef shawarma sandwich, all served on a fresh pita with fries and a soda for only $16. AB's Falafel is consistently voted best Middle Eastern food in Connecticut. Now offering a complete weekday lunch special for only $16. Come have lunch at AB's Falafel, 10 Broadway Road, Trumbull, and absfalafel.com.
Hi, Jonathan Carbuti with Carbuti Real Estate. If you're thinking about selling your home, write this number down, 203-980-6886. Again, that's 203-980-6886. Whether it's a divorce, upsizing, downsizing, or even probate, we can help with any of your real estate needs. We can even give you a cash offer for your home. Call us today and experience the Carbuti difference.
Sell your home smoothly when you call Carbuti. Go to CarbutyRealEstate.com.
Hi, this is Leo Carl from Carl Chevrolet in New Canaan. Last year, more consumers switched to Chevrolet than any other automotive brand. Why? With more standard passive and active safety features than any other brand, plus easy-to-use technology like wireless Apple CarPlay, Chevy simply builds in more value. And who doesn't love getting more for their money? With fresh inventory arriving daily, see for yourself at Carl Chevrolet, 261 Elm Street in New Canaan, or online at carlchevy.com.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. Think about your mentors and idols, the people who inspire you the most. While it may look like they have all the answers, they don't. But they do know when to ask questions and seek the support they need. In a world that glorifies hyper-independence, it's easy to forget that we're all better with a support system. Therapy is a great way to find a consistent source of support in your life, so you can break free from the outdated belief that seeking help is a sign of weakness. BetterHelp has experienced therapists ready to help you with challenges ranging from anxiety and depression to relationships and stress. It's convenient, too. You can join a session with the click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy life. You can even send your therapist a message anytime something comes up. Build your support system with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/ABCRadio today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/ABCRadio.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
95 northbound about a half an hour from Stamford going through Fairfield, and the Parkway overall is even easier than that. 95 southbound busy but moving through Long Wharf into West Haven. Traffic report is powered by MJ Thomas Jewelers. Looking to buy or sell gold? Visit MJ Thomas Jewelers in Stratford for expert service and great deals. Their knowledgeable staff is there to assist with all your gold needs. For more information, visit mjthomas.com. I'm Edge Krause with WICC Traffic.
For this evening and overnight, clouding over with a shower or two late and a low near 40. Showers tomorrow morning, over to rain in the afternoon. It will be a windy and mild afternoon. There may be a thunderstorm with a high in the mid-50s. Thursday, cloudy with a high near 55. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
Where Southern Connecticut comes for the real story. Connecticut Today with Paul Pacelli on WICC 695.9, the voice of Connecticut.
Hey, coming up after the news, bottom of the hour, an example of how Democrats here in Connecticut and our delegation in D.C., they just don't get it. You know, they want to oppose Trump, and that's fine. I would expect nothing less of them. Democrats oppose Republicans. Republicans oppose Democrats. It's the circle of life. Just like they told us about in Disney. I get it. But my God, if you're going to do it, have a brain. Take off the blinders. Read the room. I'll talk about that coming up. 203-333-9422. 333-WICC. Because they either get it, they either don't see it, or they do see it, and they're still being dummies about it. I'll give you the reason I'm saying that momentarily. Bill in New Haven is here. Bill, good afternoon. How are you?
It's simple. You live like the Amish.
Yeah.
A little radio battery,
Yeah.
a little Sony.
That's it.
2 AA batteries.
Yeah.
No computers.
That's
no
it.
TV.
Off the grid.
Just, that's it. Put your refrigerator on, keep your lights down,
Yeah.
and learn how to live like the Amish.
You know, Bill,
And these people are paying $1,200 for a month on electricity.
yeah, I've seen, Bill, I've had some.
What the hell are they doing with 12? What do they have?
Well, some of these people have 2 or 3 floor homes. They have tenants, but I've seen people, Bill, they send me those bills. I see them. They email them to me.
I pay between $35 and $45 a month.
Yeah,
right there in New Haven. I keep the lights down.
Yeah.
I got a little battery, no computers. No
I like
TV.
that. I like that.
Yeah, and I got ICC going all night
Beautiful.
long.
That's what we like. That's what we like. Yeah.
Old man Trump, he be yelling today. No, he was mad. Why should we pay these people over there more money and they ain't doing nothing, right?
Well, Bill,
it doesn't make any sense, right?
Now you're gonna. He's on at 9:00 tonight. You gonna be watching or listening?
Oh, listen, I'm on TV. Listen to you guys.
All right,
anyway,
so 9
that's
o'clock.
What he said straight up.
Yeah.
Enough. We can't keep paying this war. You want to fight the war? Go fight the war.
All right.
And all the all right, that's about it.
All right, Bill. Make sure you listen tonight, Bill, on 9:00. See, Bill's got it right. He's off the grid. Not off the grid. He lives a simple life. And what did he say? He keeps ICC on, blasting all day. You see that? Yes. That's why we like Bill in New Haven, my hometown. Pistol waving New Haven. I'm sorry. In case you're wondering if people know the city, I grew up in Westville. You know, we're right at the top of Fountain Street. If you know the Upper Westville area near Woodbridge, that's where I learned the ways of the world, as they say. Bill in New Haven. We go from New Haven to Sandy Hook, Newtown, as we span the state. Dan's with us. Hello, Dan. What's up?
Hey, Paul. I wanted to put in my 2 cents. You were commenting earlier about the fines and the fees from the government, the governor of Connecticut, and the senator.
The honorable Edward M. Lamont. Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, this is monkey see, monkey do. They see what the Democrats in Washington have been doing with U.S. aid, and they say, hey, you know what? We should do that here in this state and every other Democratic state. And then they go and they complain that Musk and Trump are doing wrong things and bad things when they're actually saving billions and hopefully close to trillions of dollars to get our butts out of debt. That's my take on it.
All right, Dan, thank you. Appreciate it. And listen, here's the bottom line. I'm sure that everything Doge is doing is not correct. I'm sure of a lot of it is. But here's the bottom line. People are angry like that, and they're willing to give it a shot. They're willing to give it a shot. And even now, there are people who feel the other way. Obviously, it's how America is. We're very bipolar as a country right now. We are split almost down the middle. You know, if you ask people about Trump, you get about 90% of Democrats who hate him. You get about 90% of Republicans who love him. And then you get about a 43-43 or 45-45 split in independents. And that's how it goes. But the reason people are okay with this, even if it's not the smoothest way to do it, is that it hasn't been done since the Clinton years. And I talked about this. Clinton, for all his foibles, Bill Clinton and Al Gore actually did something like this, but they spread it out over 3 years. And listen, it hasn't been done for 33 years. And people are saying, fine, Elon, go ahead. By the way, he's launching his Starship tonight. I think there's another Starship launch for SpaceX. I'm a space runt. I love this stuff. Have you seen the Starship? It's as big as the Saturn V. The thing is so big, it destroys launch pads. There's so much thrust coming out of that thing. So just to annoy people, and all you people out there who are now, I'm going to sell my Tesla because I hate Musk. What are you doing that for? If you like the car, keep it. You already gave him your money, you dummies. Bob in Trumbull's here. Bob, good afternoon. How are you?
Oh, I'm cold, Reverend Paul.
Come on, little brisk.
You bring up all these things. You brought up that guy Al Bore's name who invented global warming, and we've been freezing for a month.
Well, it's good for you. Gets the blood moving. Gets the blood circulating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then you ask if I'm going to watch tonight.
You going to watch?
Well, I don't know. Is the Dick Blumenthal or Chris Murphy or Rosa Deplorable going to be there on screen?
I believe
no. I'll listen to the radio.
Oh, good. Well, that's good. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate that. There you go. Apparently, Mr. Murphy said he may not attend. I don't know. It will be interesting to see which members of Connecticut's congressional delegation actually will go or not.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
95 northbound about a half an hour from Stamford going through Fairfield, and the Parkway overall is even easier than that. 95 southbound busy but moving from Long Wharf into West Haven. Traffic report is powered by MJ Thomas Jewelers. Looking to buy or sell gold? Visit MJ Thomas Jewelers in Stratford for expert service and great deals. Their knowledgeable staff is there to assist with all your gold needs. For more information, visit mjthomas.com. I'm Max Krause with WICC Traffic.
Clouding over this evening with a shower or two late and a low near 40. Showers early tomorrow over to rain in the afternoon. It will be a windy and mild day. There may be a thunderstorm with a high in the mid-50s. Thursday, cloudy with a high of 55. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
Discover the finest flooring in Southern Connecticut at Courtesy Carpet. With over 50 years experience, we've got your flooring needs covered. From intricate area rugs, durable vinyl and laminate to elegant stair runners. Shop anywhere, but make sure to see us before you buy. Visit courtesycarpet.com to explore our extensive selection. Visit Ellen, Jay, and the team at Courtesy Carpet, Route 111 in Monroe. Trust us, the experts in quality flooring. Because at Courtesy Carpet, your satisfaction is our courtesy.
Are you struggling with unreliable oil or propane delivery during this cold snap? Switch to Hoffman Energy for reliable service. With a local customer service team working 24/7, Hoffman Energy will make sure that you don't miss an oil or propane delivery. And they can handle any HVAC system breakdown repairs fast, in any weather. For all of your winter heating oil and propane needs, count on Hoffman Energy. For special offers, visit hoffmanenergy.com or call 877-359-0623 today.
they're changing the tax rules again. What does that mean for you?
So to be tax-free, you have to pay the tax on the money today and find the right places to store it and accumulate it tax-free forever. And then you don't care where tax rates go up in the future because you have a plan that will protect you.
To find out, join David Gagnon of First Financial Planners for Mastering Your Wealth. Saturday mornings at 8, right here on WICC 600.
All right, Bonnie Good. Let's go to Mike in Fairfield before news. Hey, Mike, what's up with you? How are you?
Hey, Paul. Good. Hey, I'm all good with taking any of the cost increases for what Trump is doing. We put up with $5 gas when Biden blew up our country. $5 gas. I don't eat eggs, Paul, so no more $8 eggs. And the guacamole, can't stand it. Now see, I'm a guac guy. I like a little guacamole, but here's the thing, Mike. It's not a big deal in my life. I don't care that much. I don't care. And Paul,
yeah,
I'm going to give a news flash.
Yeah,
we have guacamole. We have avocados in California.
Yeah, well, yeah. All right, Mike, thanks. Appreciate it there. Mike in Fairfield, not worried about eggs or guac.
This is WICC 695.9, the voice of Connecticut.
CBS News Brief. U.S. tariffs went into effect today in Canada, and Mexico have reacted angrily. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
Canada will be implementing 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods.
Mexico's president is promising the same, with details to come. CBS's Jill Schlesinger.
There's also going to be a problem with tequila because it will start to cost more to drink anything imported from Mexico.
The Supreme Court looks poised to toss out a $10 billion lawsuit by Mexico accusing American gun makers of fueling drug trafficking and violence. Some severe weather swept through the nation's midsection earlier. In Oklahoma, Ronald Huff says his home was damaged. His chicken coop blew away.
It's like somebody was shooting nails through a nail gun or something, just...
Parts of the South are next in line. The storm system is bringing everything from tornadoes to blizzard conditions. CBS News Brief, I'm Cammie McCormick.
WICC 695.9, Voice of Connecticut Local News Update.
Good afternoon. I'm Chris Williams with WICC News. Your top news story of the afternoon. A Connecticut veteran who was laid off last month as a result of President Donald Trump's federal workforce purge will be in attendance this evening as Trump addresses a joint session of Congress. Gabriel Delatry served in the United States Marine Corps and was 5 days away from securing permanent employment status at the IRS before being laid off. Delatry will be attending the address as the guest of Connecticut Congressman Joe Courtney, who has introduced legislation that would reinstate veterans who have lost their jobs as a result of the purge. The bill is called the Protect Veterans Jobs Act, which would require any veteran who was removed or dismissed from civil service after January 20th to be eligible to get their job back. President Trump's address is tonight at 9 p.m. A reminder, you can hear that here on WICC. A Shelton man has pleaded guilty to charges that he used fraud to obtain $145,000 in coronavirus relief funds. Prosecutors say 38-year-old Vincenzo Minutolo defrauded the Paycheck Protection Program by overstating the annual gross income of his company, City Sounds Productions. Minutolo was also accused of providing fraudulent IRS tax documents during the loan process that had not actually been filed with the IRS. He will be sentenced in May. Governor Ned Lamont says it appears the purchase of hospitals in the state owned by Prospect Medical Holdings is off. Yale New Haven Health had signed an agreement to buy Waterbury, Manchester, and Rockville General Hospitals from Prospect. Lamont says it now appears Yale is planning to officially end its bid to buy the three hospitals. Yale previously sued to get out of the agreement, saying Prospect's mismanagement of the hospitals has greatly reduced their value. Longtime Connecticut resident Linda McMahon has been confirmed to President Donald Trump's cabinet as U.S. Secretary of Education. The former WWE executive was confirmed to the post by the U.S. Senate yesterday. McMahon served briefly on the State Board of Education over a decade ago. McMahon has been criticized by Democrats for her lack of expertise and for her support of Trump's plan to abolish the U.S. Department of Education. Veterans and employees rallied outside the VA hospital in West Haven yesterday in protest of federal job cuts by the Trump administration. The group complained that thousands of probationary VA employees have been fired across the country, along with many schedulers who make appointments for veterans. WTNH-TV News 8 reported that Senator Richard Blumenthal and Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro were among the public officials at yesterday's protests.
We're seeing clinics close around the country. Yeah. We're seeing operating rooms deserted. We're seeing lines for health care at facilities like this one.
It makes no sense at all, except all of these cuts are to provide those tax breaks for the richest in the world.
Blumenthal accused the Trump administration of, quote, allowing Elon Musk to give vets the middle finger. According to a study from the Pew Research Center, most states in New England have experienced a decline among both Christians in general and Catholics in particular. However, in Connecticut, the number of Catholics increased from 33 to 35% in the last decade. Rhode Island continues to have the highest number of Christians in general and Catholics in particular in the region. Westport Republican First Select Woman Jen Tooker is running for governor. Tooker made the announcement yesterday, saying Connecticut families have been burdened by high taxes and rising costs for years. She also says the state has been burdened by a state government that lacks accountability. Tooker has previously served on the Board of Finance and the Board of Education. She is running on a platform of fiscal responsibility and, if elected, plans to address energy costs, state employee costs, and turn Connecticut cities into tech hubs. Tooker is one of several Republicans who have announced a bid for the office, including New Britain Mayor Aaron Stewart and former U.S. Senate candidate Matt Corey. Democratic incumbent Ned Lamont has not revealed whether he will be seeking a third four-year term. Governor Ned Lamont is vetoing a supplemental bill that would provide $40 million to school districts for special education. Lamont announced the veto yesterday at the state capitol while wearing a sling on his right arm, which he broke in a fall during a recent trade mission to India. NBC attended a press conference where the governor discussed his decision.
I think it's a wrong way to budget. Pay now, buy it now, pay later. We'll figure out how we're going to do it. Frankly, I was just a little surprised because we've had a very strong collaborative relationship with the leadership.
Lamont also vetoed a bill that would have allocated nearly $3 million to nonprofits that have been targeted for cuts by the Trump administration. The special education bill passed the legislature with strong bipartisan support. And yesterday, Norwalk Mayor Harry Rilling has announced that he will not be seeking re-election this coming November after holding the office for the past 12 years. Before becoming mayor in 2013, Rilling spent 41 years in the Norwalk Police Department, including 17 years as police chief. In a conversation with News 12, Rilling looked back fondly on his years of service.
It's been a wonderful ride, wonderful journey. It's time to consider moving on and doing something that maybe you enjoy, give you a little bit more time with your family, spend more time with my wife.
Rilling's current term will end on February 1st of 2026. I'm Chris Williams with WICC News.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
95 northbound just over half an hour from Stanford through Fairfield. Parkway northbound very busy getting out of Norwalk going into no man's land in Fairfield. No accident reported. And out of New Haven, just extra cars going through Long Wharf into West Haven. I'm Mitch Krause with WICC Traffic.
For this evening and overnight, clouding over with a shower or two late and a low near 40. Showers tomorrow morning, over to rain in the afternoon. It will be a windy and mild afternoon. There may be a thunderstorm with a high in the mid-50s. Thursday, cloudy with a high near 55. I'm meteorologist Paul Fiorek on WICC.
Make your voice heard. 203-333-9422. Back to Connecticut Today with Paul Pacelli on WICC 695.9, the voice of Connecticut.
All right, you and I together, numerous ways you can get in here and chat with moi at 203-333-9422. 333-WICC. You can call me on that. You can send texts that way, too, if you don't want to call and you're not near an email terminal. Just go voice to text there and then send it to 333-9422. Of course, email's still up and available. Paul, P-A-U-L, Paul, at voiceofct.com. You know, you heard on the news from Chris today and earlier all day here on WICC, our federal delegation, Mr. Blumenthal, Mr. Murphy, all 5 members of our House delegation, in particular, Rosa DeLauro, 3rd District, New Haven area, Jim Himes, 4th District, Fairfield County area. They're all opposing Trump, which is fine. Look, a good two-party system is what this country needs. You need to have a good amount of political equilibrium so no party goes off the deep end. But having said that, and this is what I was talking about, I wanted to get into before the bottom of the hour, understand this, especially if you despise Trump. If you're a Connecticut Democrat or an independent voter, not the independent party, but you're unaffiliated, I should say, middle of the road, and the fact that you really hold the key here. But understand that part of the reason Donald Trump was elected this time around, and part of the reason that Democrats will undoubtedly be elected the next time around, you know, there's a pendulum relationship in American politics, is that at least half the country doesn't like what the other party is doing. That's not hard to understand. The thing is, you wonder, and you look at those parties that lose, and you say, are they awake at all? 2 examples here. Let's, again, because it was the number one issue, I think, next to the economy, immigration. And what happens is there are people in this state of Connecticut that live, they have blinders on to an extent that, to me, is fascinating. Not only blinders, they have a spit hood on, they have a hoodie, they have dark sunglasses. The leadership in this state, in the big cities, and in the General Assembly is so out of touch with what elected Donald Trump, they have no idea what they're doing. There is a push now by, again, some immigration groups. They want even more limits on how Connecticut police and law enforcement can interact with ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. The notion of illegal immigration or undocumented migrants, it is a freaking sacrament for these people. And yet, now you can have that. I understand that. You can be passionate about that. That's okay. But then don't sit there and go, I can't believe Trump won. No, Trump won in part by pushing back against what you want. Now, you may be okay with that. That's not the issue. But don't walk around, as my mother used to say, half a stunad, mezzo stunad, ufa, that one. You can't walk around and not understand what's going on. I know you live in a blue state. Take the hoodie off. Take off the spit hood. Take off the glasses and understand what's going on. And there's a story here in the Connecticut Mirror. Well, oh, my God, they're coming after innocent people. Well, listen, again, this is all rhetorical crap. There's no mass raids going on at school. We read you a story last week by our friend Dan Harr, who will be on with us tomorrow in the 5 o'clock hour. There are no mass raids going on at schools or places of worship or hospitals. There aren't. But you know what has happened? An incredible drop of people crossing the border. Because, you know, a plurality of voters, just under half of the country, said, you know what? Yeah, Trump may be a reprobate. Yeah, I don't like the way he talks, the comments with women, the New York cases, but I like him on immigration. Doesn't mean you have to agree with it, but you got to take the blinders off. Do you realize how low the border crossing numbers are already? What are we, 3 months into Trump? January, February, March? No, we're 2.5 months in. Have you seen how these numbers have dropped? I'll tell you about them coming up straight ahead right after this.
When you want the top Connecticut headlines when you wake up, you know to come to one place. That's Melissa in the Morning. Live interviews with local leaders and breaking news. You've got it on Melissa in the Morning. Plus, traffic and weather every 10 minutes. Melissa in the Morning is everything you need on your ride into work. Melissa Sheketoff, every weekday from 5 to 10 on Melissa in the Morning on the Voice of Connecticut, WICC 600 and 95.9.
The Connecticut Lottery reminds you that gambling can be a fun form of entertainment, but it's not risk-free, so it's important to play responsibly. Make sure you understand how the games work, know the odds, set time limits, and take breaks. To find out more, visit ctlottery.org or responsibleplayct.org. Must be 18 or older to purchase lottery and 21 or older to place sports wagers. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. But don't just take our word for it. Here's Jackie and Veronica, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Just call, click, or bring us your bill and see how much you can save. Because when it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you. That's 1-888-FREEDOM, consumercellular.com, or our store in Shelton at Bridgeport Avenue and Parrot Drive. Real people paid to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now traffic.
95 northbound just over half an hour from Stamford through Fairfield. Parkway northbound very busy getting out of Norwalk going into No Man's Land in Fairfield. No accident reported. And out of New Haven, just extra cars going through Long Wharf into West Haven. I'm Matt Krause with WICC traffic.
Clouding over this evening with a shower or two late in a low near 40. Showers early tomorrow over to rain in the afternoon. It will be a windy and mild day. There may be a thunderstorm with a high in the mid-50s. Thursday, cloudy with a high of 55. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
Connecticut Today with Paul Piselli is back and only on the Voice of Connecticut, WICC 600 and 95.9.
So there is such a disconnect here, especially in Connecticut, and especially with our congressional delegation. First, more locally, you have more of these immigration advocacy groups or whatever saying, hey, there needs to be even more of a prohibition of local police working with immigration and customs enforcement here because of undocumented migrants. Yet, that's one of the big reasons, not the only reason, and you may not agree with it, but that's one of the big reasons that Donald Trump won. So you might want to sit back and you can be the loyal opposition. I understand that. But maybe nationally, Democrats, and they don't know what to do. They're caught between a rock and a hard place. They're going to do a protest tonight, and they had that big thing, the economic blackout last Friday. That didn't do anything. Come on. You got to sit there and recognize, as I was saying about Republicans years ago, especially with the replace and repeal of Obamacare, I said that was one of the dumbest things they could have done, and it got them nothing. They knew they weren't going to replace Obamacare. Everybody with a quarter of a brain knew it, but they went ahead with it yesterday. A few years ago because it sounded good. The same thing with immigration now. Well, we're going to, here in Connecticut, we want the ACLU to do this and protect migrants to do that. And meantime, border crossings are down 94%, which, by the way, not a lot of people are reporting on. It is the lowest number, according to documents obtained by CBS News, in 25 years. 25 years. The number of migrants crossing into the U.S. through the southern border illegally in the first full month of the Trump term in office dropped to a level not seen in 25 years. Border Patrol in the first month recording about 8,450 apprehensions of migrants who crossed into the country unlawfully. On some days, during a record spike in crossings during the Biden years, Border Patrol recorded more than 8,000 apprehensions in a single day. So the Border Patrol is doing what the majority, or not the majority, but a plurality of Americans wanted them to do. This is why Trump was elected. They didn't elect him because he's a gracious man. They didn't elect him because he has some sort of spirituality. They didn't elect him because he may be the purest of persons when it comes to women. No. They elected him because of the numbers you see at the border now. So there are some people here in Connecticut that just either don't see it or they willfully, they see it and they're not going to, as they say in politics, in comedy, and in entertainment, they can't read the room. Over the past 25 years, the only time monthly apprehensions came close to the level recorded last month in February was in April of 2017, after we had just elected a guy named Donald Trump. Now, part of that was what Joe Biden did, which is why I kept saying the fact that Republicans were told by Trump not to go along with this bipartisan Border Patrol deal was that it ended up pushing Joe Biden into doing stuff that Trump did in his first term. And again, look what happened to border crossings. So the undocumented migrant crowd here in the state, it's one of two things. They are either willfully ignorant of those numbers, or they see the numbers and they simply don't want to win again. Because that illustrates a key issue of why they're backpedaling now. So that's one area. The other area is this. During the last election, do you recall what the researchers said was the most effective ad that was run by the Trump campaign? It was the ad highlighting what? You remember what it was? Yes. Keeping young biological men and boys out of girls' sports, either on a collegiate level, in intercollegiate activities, or on a high school level or a youth level. Now, it's a very passionate argument, both sides. I get it. I understand it. But you cannot deny it is a winner, especially when you look at what the polling numbers say. And why do I mention this? Because, again, the state Republican Party chair, my friend Ben Proto, was out with a news release today highlighting this. Last night, Senate Democrats, including Connecticut's own Chris Murphy and Dick Blumenthal, voted to block the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act, which would have kept men out of women's sports. Now, you may say, and as people say, well, you know, the Republicans, they're dastardly. That happens so infrequently. Okay, maybe statistically it does. But you know what? When it happens, it makes national news and people pay attention. According to a recent New York Times poll, this is the New York Times now. This is not Fox. This is not Newsmax. This is not One American Network. This is not Rasmussen, who tilts way to the right. According to a New York Times poll, 79% of Americans believe that biological males who identify as women should not be allowed to compete in women's sports. That is 8 out of 10 Americans. Yet, our 2 Senate members, Dick Blumenthal and Chris Murphy, choose to vote with the other 20%. But you're going to blame Trump? Oh, Trump's the bad guy. Really? Really? And I'm not fawning here for Donald Trump, but what I do read is numbers. I think I understand math. Gets a little rusty sometimes. And by the way, 67% of Democrats, 2/3 of the party of Mr. Blumenthal and Mr. Murphy, with all due respect, disagree with them, yet they vote the opposite way. And you wonder why Trump won. You still wondering? Hello? Are you still wondering why Trump won? Well, Stormy Daniels and E. Jean Carroll and Letitia James, people don't care. Most of America didn't care. But guess what? 80% of Americans don't want, for whatever reason. Is it bigotry? Is it homophobia? Is it misogyny? I don't know. And frankly, I don't care. But I do read the numbers. 79% of Americans, including 67% of Democrats, said no. Women compete against women. Young girls compete against young girls. So listen, everybody associated with this state, from the Democratic leadership in Hartford on down, from Mr. Murphy, Mr. Blumenthal, Congress folks Jim Himes, Johanna Hayes, Rosa DeLauro, John Larson, and Joe Courtney, they can all sob and cry about some of this stuff. But you know what? Spare me. Read the room. Read the room. Read the room. Take off the blinders. Take off the sunglasses. Take off the spit hood. Climb out of the straitjacket and read the room, especially what 2/3 of your own party says. Stop the head cracking at Trump, because all he did was promise to do or to adopt what ended up ringing on a resounding level with voters.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
95 northbound, just over half an hour from Stanford through Fairfield. Parkway northbound, very busy getting out of Norwalk going into No Man's Land in Fairfield. No accident reported. And out of New Haven, just extra cars going through Long Wharf into West Haven. I'm Matt Krause with WICC Traffic.
For this evening and overnight, clouding over with a shower or two late and a low near 40. Showers tomorrow morning, over to rain in the afternoon. It will be a windy and mild afternoon. There may be a thunderstorm with a high in the mid-50s. Thursday, cloudy with a high near 55. I'm meteorologist Paul Fiorek on WICC.
Stratford's popular Restaurant Week is going on now through this Saturday, March 8th. Stratford restaurants are teaming up to showcase and celebrate the best of Stratford's dining scene. Enter to win hundreds of dollars worth of Stratford restaurant gift cards with the Golden Fork Award. For more information, go to stratfordct.gov/restaurant-week. Stratford Restaurant Week is grateful to their sponsor, the Stratford Economic and Community Development Commission.
Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at progressive.com. That's progressive.com.
Back to the news and talk, thanks to Smart MLS. Smart sellers ask, is my home on Smart MLS? The voice of Connecticut. WICC 695.9. It's Connecticut Today with Paul Pacelli.
And tonight live right here on WICC 600 AM, 95.9 FM, and online, voiceofct.com. An address to a joint session of Congress by Mr. Trump, President Trump. So we're asking today if you will be watching or listening to it on WICC. You can chime in on that, 203-333-9422, 333-WICC. And you can text, too. So call or text at 203-333-9422, 333-WICC. Or you can chime in on our Facebook page, facebook.com/voice of CT. I'm looking at some of the comments today. They span the gamut, which is good. No, says Julia. Dislike him very much as a man and as a president. Bad enough I have to put up with him for 4 years. Kevin says, can't stand the sound of his voice, plus everything he says is a lie. Mike says, absolutely. Lauren says, no. Adrian says, people who say no are the same people who claim to be informed. Yes, I'll be watching. Yusuf said, yeah, maybe for the first 2 minutes. Izzy says yes. Joe says no. Maritza says not, caps, all in caps there. Steve says, why torture myself? Richard says nope. Betty says, unfortunately, it's a tragedy in real time. And Corey, that's it, C-O-R-I. Corey says that is a big no, not just a no, Corey says, a big no in all caps as well. Well, if you can't be near a video service, catch at 9 o'clock tonight live coverage of the president's address to Congress.
WICC Bridgeport, WFOX Southport, WEBE HD2 Westport, WPLR HD2 New Haven, locally owned by Connoisseur Media.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Cammie McCormick. U.S. tariffs against Mexico and Canada took effect today, and the trade war is on. Canada's Prime Minister Trudeau.
We will not back down from a fight. Not when our country and the well-being of everyone in it is at stake.
I'm Jim Crisula. Canadian leaders say their response to the sudden tariffs tit for tat will target Republican states and allies of President Donald Trump. The list includes Kentucky bourbon, Tennessee whiskey, oranges and fruit from Florida, peanut products from Georgia, household appliances made in South Carolina and Ohio, motorcycles from Pennsylvania, and furniture made in North Carolina.
Jeff Gilbert on how this could impact auto production and sales.
65,000 vehicles are built in North America every day, about a quarter of them in Mexico, 8% in Canada. Parts also flow freely across the border. Tariffs that last more than a few weeks could cause vehicle production to be impacted and prices to go up.
President Trump will address a joint session of Congress in a few hours. Reporter Linda Kenyon has a preview.
House Majority Leader Steve Scalise says the speech before a joint session of Congress will be a cause for celebration.
Tonight, President Trump is going to be celebrating the renewal of the American dream.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says there's nothing to celebrate.
Donald Trump has done nothing to brag about tonight. It hasn't even been 50 days, and he's already made a huge mess of our country.
Some Democrats say they will not attend the speech. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
President Trump has paused U.S. assistance to Ukraine after the spat with President Zelensky in the Oval Office. Zelensky now calls that regrettable. This American works with medics in Ukraine and thinks Trump is giving Russia too much of an advantage.
We're not helping anyone with peace with Russia. There's no such thing. They don't want peace. They want a piece of you, but they don't want peace.
A powerful storm system is sweeping across the U.S., impacting millions. Chris Fox on the damage earlier in Texas.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott activated the state's emergency response teams in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. That means assessing damage and cleaning up. At the height of the storms, nearly 400,000 left without power. Roofs ripped off schools and warehouses. Somehow this man's RV survived winds nearly the equivalent of a Category 1 hurricane.
We're lucky. We don't know how our 25-foot didn't flip. All I can say is God was on our side.
Also, severe drought and heavy winds over most of the rest of the state have fire danger conditions listed as extreme. Chris Fox for CBS News, Austin.
The markets are still reacting to the tariffs on Wall Street. The Dow was off 670 points. This is CBS News.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You could save big when you bundle your auto, home, motorcycle, RV, or boat. Visit Progressive.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-230-2777. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. Hell, you may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-230-2777. That's 800-230-2777 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-230-2777. 800-230-2777.
WICC 695.9. Voice of Connecticut Local News Update.
Good afternoon. I'm Chris Williams with WICC News. Your top news story of the afternoon. Governor Ned Lamont is vetoing a supplemental bill that would provide $40 million to school districts for special education. Lamont announced the veto yesterday at the state capitol while wearing a sling on his right arm, which he broke in a fall during a recent trade mission to India. NBC attended a press conference where the governor discussed his decision.
I think it's a wrong way to budget. Pay now, buy it now, pay later. We'll figure out how we're going to do it. Frankly, I was just a little surprised because we've had a very strong collaborative relationship with the leadership.
Lamont also vetoed a bill that would have allocated nearly $3 million to nonprofits that have been targeted for cuts by the Trump administration. The special education bill passed the legislature with strong bipartisan support. Longtime Connecticut resident Linda McMahon has been confirmed to President Donald Trump's cabinet as U.S. Secretary of Education. The former WWE executive was confirmed to the post by the U.S. Senate yesterday. McMahon served briefly on the State Board of Education over a decade ago. McMahon has been criticized by Democrats for her lack of experience and for her support of Trump's plan to abolish the U.S. Department of Education. According to a study from the Pew Research Center, most states in New England have experienced a decline among both Christians in general and Catholics in particular. However, in Connecticut, the number of Catholics increased from 33 to 35% in the last decade. Rhode Island continues to have the highest number of Christians in general and Catholics in particular in the region. And a Connecticut veteran who was laid off last month as a result of President Donald Trump's federal workforce purge will be in attendance this evening as Trump addresses a joint session of Congress. Gabriel Delatry served in the United States Marine Corps and was 5 days away from securing permanent employment status at the IRS before being laid off. Delatry will be attending the address as the guest of Connecticut Congressman Joe Courtney, who has introduced legislation that would reinstate veterans who have lost their jobs as a result of the purge. The bill is called the Protect Veterans Jobs Act, which would require any veteran who was removed or dismissed from civil service after January 20th to be eligible to get their job back. President Trump's address is tonight at 9 p.m. You can catch President Trump's remarks right here on WICC 600 AM and 95.9 FM or online at voiceofct.com. We will be carrying that address. I'm Chris Williams with WICC News.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
95 northbound, 45 minutes from Greenwich to Bridgeport. Some breaks along the way for sure. The Parkway is even easier right now. Out of New Haven, just busy through Long Wharf and Wilbur Cross and Route 8 and 84 are even easier than that. Traffic report powered by Optimum. Take your business to the next level with Optimum Business Essentials. Get reliable, secure internet connection backup and business phone, all for just $90 a month. Visit Optimum.com/business or call 855-2-OPTIMUM today. I'm Mitch Kraus with WICC Traffic.
Clouding over this evening with a shower or two late, a low near 40. Showers early tomorrow, over to rain in the afternoon. It will be a windy and mild day. There may be a thunderstorm with a high in the mid-50s. Thursday, cloudy with a high of 55. I'm meteorologist Paul Fiorek on WICC.
You're listening to Connecticut Today with Paul Piselli on WICC 695.9, the voice of Connecticut.
And by the way, before we talk to our friend Chris Powell here in a few minutes, first go back to the phones. I've got a piece of sound coming up after the news at the bottom of the hour. I promise I'll get to it then. You don't want to miss this. Trust me. It's about 1 minute and 30 seconds. It's about 90 seconds. Chuck Todd, who, of course, for years was the leader, the gallant leader of NBC's Sunday landmark program, Meet the Press. Chuck Todd was on this was not a surreptitiously recorded piece of sound here. Chuck Todd was on a podcast with Rick Wilson from the Lincoln Project, no fan of Donald Trump. Well, it turns out Chuck Todd is no fan of Donald Trump. Is no fan of Joe Biden. And it's not to do with policy. You ain't going to want to miss this, because this plays right into, what did I say? Once Biden is gone, they all will, again, to our military friends out there, you know, when you're with a higher rank officer and you say, sir or ma'am, permission to speak freely. Yeah. Wait till you hear what Chuck Todd said. Friend of mine said, he sounds like he wants to go to work at Fox. Trust me. Couple of calls before we do that. And Chris Powell coming up. Bozzy's here. Boz, how are you, sir?
Good afternoon, my friend. How are you? I can't wait to hear the Chuck Todd piece.
My God. You're going to laugh your arse off. Trust me.
Good, because I'm in the big brown leather chair in the office here, so I can.
Yeah.
What's nice now is I can hear you in my hearing aids.
Nice.
So I don't miss anything.
Nice. Very
Wonderful.
Nice. So you're in the big chair. You're in the big kahuna
I'm in the
chair.
big chair. I got the computer behind me with some numbers on it.
Nice.
I got my 15th cup of coffee, and you know what I had for lunch today? Scottolan beans.
Oh,
there you go.
Scottolan beans. You have some bread with it? Any bread with it? I hope.
Well, you know, I had a good A1C number, 5.7, so I've been watching a little bit.
Good for you. Mine is 6.7, so I'm a little higher than you. Okay.
Well, you know what? My doctor told me to take berberine.
Really?
It's berberine. It's a natural supplement, plant-based.
Yeah.
I take it twice a day, and I think that gets me. I was at 5.9. I was at 6 months. I've been coming down. This
Nice.
is a great reading. 5.7 is perfect.
You sure he didn't say? You sure he didn't mean bourbon? Okay, I'm just checking.
No, not bourbon. But a couple of things I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
Top of the list.
Yeah.
Even if I wanted to be as liberal as I could be.
Okay.
And I'm not.
Yeah.
Men and women's sports. Anybody you talk to will live. As soon as they say, "Well," I want to scream.
Yeah.
I mean, back in my day, I graduated 50 years ago, 1975.
Yeah.
I was on the track team.
Okay.
And the girls' field hockey used to be in the middle.
Sure.
If one of the guys from Mineola High School, right across the pond, walked out of the gym and went into the middle of the field with a hockey stick, do you know what the rest of the people? In our day, you're a little bit younger than me. Yeah. It doesn't even seem fathomable. Now, the other thing I wanted to comment is these Democrats that are bringing laid-off people.
Yeah.
I mean, Trump's going to have Lake and Riley's parents there.
Yeah, I know.
The other girl that got the crap beat out of her.
Yeah.
The guy that he just freed.
Yeah.
I think his guests are going to Trump, no pun intended, laid off workers. My wife's lost her job 3 times. Look at me, what I do for my work.
Yeah.
Sometimes I could work for a client, which I did in Milford.
Yeah.
She decided to do a kitchen. She went in another direction. Now, we're there today doing some interior painting. So could you say that I didn't get that one? I've been fired? I mean, if you're going to have somebody sit next to you, have something of some credibility. When Trump shows his people, especially Lake and Riley's parents, and the other thing that burns my bottom is these people that are allowing or getting to immigrant, the criminals, and letting them disband before ICE gets there. Who in their right mind can agree with that kind of thinking? You just the safety of your own family. These people, whoever they are, they let them, ICE is coming, disband or whatever you're going to do.
Yeah, and you know what? And Boz, thank you. I do have to run, Steve, but to that point, and Steve, I'm glad you mentioned that because I have a story I haven't gotten to. There was a big ruckus in Chicago, and Steve, once again, thanks because that reminded me of this, of a guy that's being deported. He's got kids, and they picked up the guy at his kid's school, and everybody was going nuts. they went nuts until officials told these people this guy who says he's a wonderful parent was a convicted violent gang member.
Put your finest green on and join WICC at the biggest and best St. Patrick's Day parades this season. This Saturday, March 8th, join Paul Picelli at the Norwalk St. Patrick's Day Parade, starting at 11. Get parade routes at voiceofct.com. Then load up on corned beef and cabbage and bring your entire family to enjoy floats, marching bands, and all this St. Patty's Day fun with WICC 600 and 95.9, the voice of Connecticut.
For over a century, Spectre has been the go-to destination for furniture that's built to last. To celebrate, they're kicking off their 135th anniversary sale with huge discounts store-wide. Whether you're updating your living room, refreshing your bedroom, or looking for the perfect new dining set, Spectre Furniture has the pieces you'll love at prices you'll adore. Celebrate this March at Spectre Furniture, 135 years strong and still your home for style.
Hi, I'm Peter from Donut Delight. Donut Delight has used Steve Basso Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning since 1994. From installing plumbing in our new stores to maintaining our existing stores and our personal homes. Their guys have always been very professional and great to work with. Donut Delight has been very happy with Steve Basso Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Looking for a reliable plumbing or HVAC company? Steve Basso Plumbing, Heating, and AC has proven customer satisfaction since 1974. Go to BassoPHAC.com. That's BassoPHAC.com.
Selling your home is a numbers game. The more potential buyers who see it, the greater the opportunity to sell. And when your home is listed on Smart MLS, more than 21,000 realtors see it, and so do all their buyers. Suddenly, the number of people looking at your home starts to grow by a lot. More realtors sharing your listing, more people seeing your home, more offers coming in, and maybe even more cash in your pocket. Smart move, right? Ask your realtor, is my house on Smart MLS? Smart MLS, the smart way to sell your home.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. Think about your mentors and idols, the people who inspire you the most. While it may look like they have all the answers, they don't. But they do know when to ask questions and seek the support they need. In a world that glorifies hyper-independence, it's easy to forget that we're all better with a support system. Therapy is a great way to find a consistent source of support in your life so you can break free from the outdated belief that seeking help is a sign of weakness. BetterHelp has experienced therapists ready to help you with challenges ranging from anxiety and depression to relationships and stress. It's convenient, too. You can join a session with the click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy life. You can even send your therapist a message anytime something comes up. Build your support system with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/ABCRadio today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/ABCRadio.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
95 northbound, 45 minutes from Greenwich to Bridgeport. Some breaks along the way for sure. The Parkway is even easier right now. Out of New Haven, just busy through Blanc Wharf and Wilbur Cross and Route 8 and 84 are even easier than that. Traffic report powered by Optimum. Take your business to the next level with Optimum Business Essentials. Get reliable, secure internet connection, backup, and business phone, all for just $90 a month. Visit Optimum.com/business or call 855-2-OPTIMUM today. I'm Mitch Krause with WICC Traffic.
For this evening and overnight, clouding over with a shower or two late and a low near 40. Showers tomorrow morning over to rain in the afternoon. It will be a windy and mild afternoon. There may be a thunderstorm with a high in the mid-50s. Thursday, cloudy with a high near 55. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
He'll tell you what's really going on. It's Connecticut Today with Paul Picelli on the voice of Connecticut, WICC 600 and 95.9.
And for some thought-provoking columns that will leave you either pumping your fists with delight or screaming because you don't like them, or something in the middle. ChrisPowellColumn.com, ChrisPowellColumn.com. Our monthly check-in with Mr. Powell, who you've known for years, back to his days at the Manchester J.I. And Chris tells us he's in Canada today, in Toronto. Chris, are you okay there? Do you need a marine team to rescue you?
No, things seem pretty normal up here. I've been walking around with an American flag and Canadian flag pin on, and And nobody's bothered me at all. I hope cooler heads will prevail before too long.
So you're not running toward the American embassy with your waving your passport, is what you're saying?
No. It's a beautiful city.
It is.
It's very, very orderly today.
It is. Chris, we haven't talked to you in a while. A couple things to talk about. You have a piece here, two big issues here. The want for more money for education, which I know is a favorite of yours to criticize because it doesn't really work most of the time, but also holding prisons accountable. And there's been a recent story that, is getting a little coverage, but I don't think as much as it should.
Yeah, the state legislature and the governor recreated a prison ombudsman office a couple of years ago, but they really didn't appropriate anything for it, and they didn't put anybody in the office. Well, they've got an interim prison ombudsman now. His name is Devon Ward. But he's facing more than 350 complaints from prisoners that he's supposed to inspect and respond to, and he's the only one in the office. They've budgeted $400,000 for his office, but he doesn't yet have authority to hire anybody, and no job openings for the office have been advertised yet. He'd like a little support, staff support, so he can address this backlog of complaints. And I don't think the governor thinks that the office, the project of responding to prisoner complaints is very important, and probably most people don't think it's important either. But I would encourage legislators who don't think that this prospect of a prison ombudsman is very important to watch the video recording of the correction guards beating up a guy named it was J. Allen Jones, I guess, at the Newtown prison a few years ago. Makes it look like it was very excessive violence in subduing this guy. The correction department says it was handled properly, and maybe it was, but I think it's with police work. We've decided in police work in Connecticut now that anytime there's a fatality involving police action, we have it independently investigated by the state inspector general. And I think the same principle should apply here. The correction department should not be the only judge of its conduct when there's a fatality in the prison system. And I think that's what the prison ombudsman could do. He could look into these cases, especially fatalities, and make a report on them. And that's why I think the legislature ought to appropriate a little bit of money for the ombudsman. He wants $2 million for all sorts of staff and regional offices, and that is not going to happen. But at least he ought to have a few assistants and some money to investigate cases.
Speaking of money, the mayor of Hartford, Mayor Arunan Arulambalam, again, a civic official here, Chris Powell, trying to do something with education. This, of course, coming off that case now that I guess is getting more national attention of that young woman who says she was graduated functionally illiterate. But the mayor there trying to shake things up, and one component of this that you and I always discuss is the role of funding in this whole thing.
Yeah, the mayor appointed a special study committee to come up with ways of improving the Hartford school system, and they made their recommendations the other day. And predictably enough, all the recommendations were really just about more money, and there's some legitimate grievances the Hartford schools have about money. They lose a lot of money because of the magnet schools that draw Hartford students away from the local schools into the regional schools, and that reduces state money into the city schools, and doesn't really so much reduce their expenses because they still have to keep up their capital plans and everything. But as reasonable as these requests for more money may seem, I think they're of value only to the question of what the property tax rate in Hartford is going to be. Hartford's property taxes are way too high, and as a result, the middle class is scared out of living in Hartford, in part because of taxes and also because of how terrible the schools are. I don't think any amount of money poured into the Hartford schools is ever going to improve education there, because education is 95% a matter of parents, and most of the kids in Hartford and the other city schools in the state, they're living in a household with only one parent, even with that. So I don't think there's an educational reason to put more money into Hartford schools unless you're going to hire parents for the kids.
Chris, finally, the story that, of course, started out regionally and locally here that now went nationwide, even worldwide. I'm seeing links to it in international newspapers. This guy, they refer to them as him, obviously, with all the bad Hannibal Lecter jokes as the cannibal killer here. And you had a few things to say about that, and a story that's got people really around the world asking questions about it.
Yeah, the guy, killed this other guy in Bridgeport, and then ate parts of his body. He was found innocent by reason of insanity a few years ago, and the state psychiatric security review board has just decided to release him under supposedly close supervision, and he's got to take his medicines and wear an ankle bracelet and all this stuff. A lot of people are critical of this. They're critical of the Psychiatric Security Review Board for letting him go. But as far as I can see, the board followed the law and made a decision that he's under control right now. And if he continues to have supervision, he'll stay under control. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I think the criticism here should be aimed at the law, not at the board. The board was just doing its job, and I think conscientiously reached a conclusion. I don't necessarily agree with it, but the law presumes that insane people who commit murder can be restored to health and decent behavior and should be released. I think the solution here is to change the law so that people who commit murder and are acquitted by insanity are not eligible for release, or at least not eligible for release for 30 or 40 years or something like that until they're elderly and frail. But I just think the criticism of the Security Review Board is a bit misdirected. The problem is they were following the law. They did their job, presumably as best they could. And I think we ought to change the law. I don't think murderers acquitted by reason of insanity should be released.
Yeah, interesting. Chris, enjoy Canada. Now, they're about to get, from what I see here, Chris, they're about to get their own Donald Trump, I think, in a couple of months. And Mr. Poilievre, who I guess is a Western Canadian guy. So that should be an interesting 180 for our friends to the north, where you are right now.
Well, the polls recently suggested that President Trump's really assault on Canada has rebuilt some popularity for the Liberal Party. I think in the last poll, the Liberals were slightly ahead of Poilievre and the Conservatives. So, insofar as I would like Canada to have a normal conservative government, I wish the president would ease up on Canada a little bit. They're pretty good friends.
Chris, thank you. Safe trip back, and we'll chat next month. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Paul. Bye.
Appreciate it. Chris Powell there in Toronto. All right, coming up, we'll do news and traffic and weather together. And out of the news, I promise, about 90 seconds of audio that was not done surreptitiously. It was done on a well-known podcast. Chuck Todd, who used to be with the NBC, is now apparently feeling his oats, and he is speaking freely.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
95 northbound, 45 minutes from Greenwich to Bridgeport. Some breaks along the way for sure. The Parkway is even easier right now. Out of New Haven, just busy through Long Wharf and Wilbur Cross and Route 8 and 84, or even easier than that. Traffic report powered by Optimum. Take your business to the next level with Optimum Business Essentials. Get reliable, secure internet connection, backup, and business phone, all for just $90 a month. Visit Optimum.com/business or call 855-2-OPTIMUM today. I'm Mitch Krause with WICC Traffic.
Clouding over this evening with a shower or two late in the low near 40. Showers early tomorrow over to rain in the afternoon. It will be a windy and mild day. There may be a thunderstorm with a high in the mid-50s. Thursday, cloudy with a high of 55. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
Frank Pepe Pizzeria, celebrating 100 years of a Beats.
A century ago, my grandparents, Frank and Philomena Pepe, opened a small pizzeria on New Haven's Worcester Street. They'd never have imagined the incredible legacy they built. Today, Pepe's is still here, still family-owned, and still Connecticut's old reliable. We celebrate 100 years and invite you to celebrate with us.
Frank Pepe Pizzeria, passionate about pizza for 100 years. Join the celebration at your local Pepe's today.
Looking for a quick primary care appointment? Start here. Hartford Healthcare Medical Group offers appointments right away, often the next day, with skilled clinicians who partner with you to get you healthy and keep you healthy. We're here for you, whether it's an illness, chronic condition, or a physical, with offices throughout Fairfield County. Visit hartfordhealthcare.org/primary care. That's hartfordhealthcare.org/primary care.
The Connecticut Lottery reminds you that gambling can be a fun form of entertainment, but it's not risk-free, so it's important to play responsibly. Make sure you understand how the games work. Know the odds, set time limits, and take breaks. To find out more, visit ctlottery.org or responsibleplayct.org. Must be 18 or older to purchase lottery and 21 or older to place sports wagers. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org.
This is WICC 695.9, the voice of Connecticut.
CBS News Brief. The tit-for-tat tariffs have begun with U.S. tariffs against Mexico and Canada. Starting things off, CBS's Jill Schlesinger.
These tariffs will start to change the way people, individuals, and businesses spend money. That could mean that we see them pull back. Growth could start to pull back.
President Trump has paused assistance to Ukraine. This American working with Ukrainian medics.
We don't have enough weapons, people will die. Which is not to say I think Ukraine's going to lose. I don't think Kyiv is going to fall. I think we will keep fighting because we don't have any other choice.
Ukrainian President Zelensky today called the Oval Office spat with Trump regrettable and says he's ready to work for peace. The Mardi Gras parades are on in New Orleans.
It's really friendly. We got a lot of thank yous and stuff on the ride and on the floats. People seem appreciative that we're doing Mardi Gras. And it feels safe. We feel safe.
There is a possibility for severe weather. CBS News Brief, I'm Cammie McCormick.
WICC 695.9, Voice of Connecticut Local News Update.
Good afternoon. I'm Chris Williams with WICC News. Some of your top news stories of the afternoon. Veterans and employees rallied outside the VA hospital in West Haven yesterday in protest of federal job cuts by the Trump administration. The group complained that thousands of probationary VA employees have been fired across the country, along with many schedulers who make appointments for veterans. WTNH-TV News 8 reported that Senator Richard Blumenthal and Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro were among the public officials at yesterday's protest.
We're seeing clinics close around the country. Yeah. We're seeing operating rooms deserted. We're seeing lines for health care at facilities like this one.
It makes no sense at all, except all of these cuts are to provide those tax breaks for the richest in the world.
Blumenthal accused the Trump administration of, quote, allowing Elon Musk to give vets the middle finger. A Bridgeport teenager accused of killing her boyfriend in an accidental shooting will be tried in court as an adult. 17-year-old Michaela Brown is charged with first-degree manslaughter and first-degree assault in the death of 16-year-old Daniel Grant. He was shot in the face when the pair were handling the weapon in a bedroom of a home on Pacific Street, and it discharged. Brown was 15 years old at the time of the shooting, and she remains free on a promise to appear in court. A Shelton man has pleaded guilty to charges that he used fraud to obtain $145,000 in coronavirus relief funds. Prosecutors say 38-year-old Vincenzo Minutolo defrauded the Paycheck Protection Program by overstating the annual gross income of his company, City Sounds Productions. Minutolo was also accused of providing fraudulent IRS tax documents during the loan process that had not actually been filed with the IRS. He will be sentenced in May. Ansonia police are investigating after a video was posted on social media depicting people trying to rob a man after a minor car crash. The video shows people demanding $500 from the man after the crash Saturday night on East Main Street. The man's wallet and phone were taken during the incident, which played out in front of a crowd of people from a nearby bar. Despite all the spectators, police say not one 911 call was placed over the incident. The baby seal that was found in the middle of a New Haven street last month has died. Officials at Mystic Aquarium say the gray seal pup named Chappie died yesterday from severe digestive issues. The young dehydrated seal had apparently come ashore near Long Wharf in New Haven and had crawled into the middle of Chapel Street before being rescued. Staff at Mystic Aquarium say they tried to give him the best possible care and are devastated by the outcome, but that Chappie was surrounded by love until the end. Governor Ned Lamont says it appears the purchase of hospitals in the state owned by Prospect Medical Holdings is off. Yale New Haven Health had signed an agreement to buy Waterbury, Manchester, and Rockville General Hospitals from Prospect. Lamont says it now appears Yale is planning to officially end its bid to buy the three hospitals. Yale previously sued to get out of the agreement, saying Prospect's mismanagement of the hospitals has greatly reduced their value. Westport Republican First Select Woman Jen Tooker is running for governor. Tooker made the announcement yesterday, saying Connecticut families have been burdened by high taxes and rising costs for years. She also says the state has been burdened by a state government that lacks accountability. Tooker is running on a platform of fiscal responsibility and, if elected, plans to address energy costs, state employee costs, and turn Connecticut cities into tech hubs. Tooker has previously served on the Board of Finance and the Board of Education. Tooker is one of several Republicans who have announced a bid for the office, including New Britain Mayor Aaron Stewart and former U.S. Senate candidate Matt Corey. Democratic incumbent Ned Lamont has not revealed whether he will be seeking a third four-year term. Yesterday, Norwalk Mayor Harry Rilling has announced that he will not be seeking re-election this coming November after holding the office for the past 12 years. Before becoming mayor in 2013, Rilling spent 41 years in the Norwalk Police Department, including 17 years as police chief. In a conversation with News 12, Rilling looked back fondly on his years of service.
It's been a wonderful ride, wonderful journey. It's time to consider moving on and doing something that maybe you enjoy, give you a little bit more time with your family, spend more time with my wife.
Rilling's current term will end on February 1st. Of 2026. And Rolling Stones guitar player Keith Richards is being honored tomorrow with the first ever Governor's Award of Excellence. Tomorrow's award ceremony is by invitation only and is not open to the public. The award will be given to Richards by Governor Ned Lamont during a ceremony tomorrow at the Westport Library. Richards has been a resident of Weston since 1985. I'm Chris Williams with WICC News.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
95 northbound, 45 minutes from Greenwich to Bridgeport. Some breaks along the way for sure. The Parkway is even easier right now. Out of New Haven, just busy through Long Wharf and Wilbur Cross and Route 8 and 84 are even easier than that. Traffic report powered by Optimum. Take your business to the next level with Optimum Business Essentials. Get reliable, secure internet connection, backup, and business phone, all for just $90 a month. Visit Optimum.com/business or call 855-2-OPTIMUM today. I'm Andrew Krause with WICC Traffic.
For this evening and overnight, clouding over with a shower or two late and a low near 40. Showers tomorrow morning over to rain in the afternoon. It will be a windy and mild afternoon. There may be a thunderstorm with a high in the mid-50s. Thursday, cloudy with a high near 55. I'm meteorologist Paul Fiorek on WICC.
Let's get back to the conversation. 203-333-9422. It's Connecticut Today with Paul Pacelli, the voice of Connecticut, WICC 600 and 95.9.
And tonight, 9 o'clock live right here on WICC. It's not being billed as a State of the Union address. It's a joint address to Congress by President Trump. CBS News reporter Olivia Rinaldi is here. Olivia, hi. Thanks for joining us again. Quickly, I guess one of the stories here is who may not show up. Is that right? There may be a bit of a boycott here or not?
Hey, Paul. It's good to be with you. Yeah, we're hearing that some Democratic members might not be showing up. That includes New York Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I don't have much to report on that front, mostly just something I've heard that she may be protesting by not showing up. But again, this comes at a very interesting point where we know that Democrats have been arguing that they do want to protest this in some capacity. Think back 4 or 5 years ago to previous Trump State of the Unions. Remember Nancy Pelosi tore up his speech. Remember one of the core four, progressive Democrats, she held up a sign that said war criminal. You know, they all have protested in some way or another, but hearing that Democratic Representative AOC might not show up certainly is a different kind of protest, an absent protest, something different than we've seen previously, rather than be loud and make a lot of ruckus. But there's been this conversation among the Democratic Party. Do we show up? Do we protest in some way? We can't just sit there and listen to him. And some Democratic operatives, including Ian Sams, who essentially ran the communications for the Harris campaign, also the Biden campaign, he said to Democrats this morning on X, don't do anything stupid. So it appears that they're listening to that, maybe just not showing up and not taking part in it, rather than be subject to people's descriptions of them and what their resistance may be.
Well, it's going to be interesting. Olivia Rinaldi, CBS News in D.C., watching all this. Olivia, as always, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, there you go, folks. Olivia Rinaldi on the spot for us. All right, before we get to Tim, hang on. No, you know what? Let's talk to Tim first, because he's been a good sport hanging out. I promise after Tim. Oh, promise me. This 90 seconds of audio from Chuck Todd. You're just going to sit there and go, ha, 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 ha. Tim, what's up? How are you?
Well, happy tax day to you and yours.
Yeah.
Wait, we're not supposed to talk about that. Apparently there was kind of a dearth of conversation amongst ultra right-wing conservatives.
No, wait a minute. Now, what tax day? What tax day is this? It's March 4th.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, we don't count the tariffs, do we, as taxes?
Oh, I get you where you're going. Okay, whatever. No, I understand that.
Yeah, I know. Dismiss it.
I know. Tim.
Come on.
I'm not dismissing it. I don't think it's the smartest thing in the world. I'm not an economist.
There's certainly nothing we should talk about, because we really need to, concentrate on the Gulf of America, Greenland, Canada, the 51st state.
When have I mentioned that today, for the love of God?
Babe, not today. That's quite all right.
Yeah.
But no one voted for Trumpflation, okay?
Yeah, you're right.
Supposed to lower the prices.
You're right.
That didn't happen. No one voted to lay off nuclear workers. No one voted to lay off hospital staffs and have hospitals not getting their supplies. All of that stuff is out there. Certainly no one voted to have tariffs on these other countries. We wanted basically, some sort of, we wanted somebody with a pulse in the White House, to be talking about. We didn't expect the big hatchet man with a chainsaw man to go on Joe Rogan and claim falsely that Social Security was a Ponzi scheme. That's the kind of guy, but that guy gets access to our Social Security numbers, our tax ID numbers, all of the rest of it. Give me a break. No one voted for that. So, no one voted for us suddenly siding with Putin either. So, a lot of people there's a lot of great stuff on Peacock, Netflix, all sorts of places. I don't want to sit there and listen to, there's somebody up in the stands. If that person stand up and, right. We're going to make people. This is a man with experience. Wait, he had 4 years of experience before as president, and he's stumbling in, screaming at our allies, making it. All of Europe suddenly now wants to, build up their military base because they can't depend upon the United States. So it's no one voted for this crap. Okay, honestly.
No, you're right. Listen, Tim. I am jammed. I'm way past time here. No, you're right. And to that I say, and I say that to all my progressive friends. I say to everyone. No, seriously. I'm not trying to be flip here. I'm not trying to be arrogant. Had the Democrats and like James Carville says, if we ran somebody who could compete, If we ran somebody who could complete a sentence, we wouldn't be here.
Do you have questions about real estate? Learn the secrets of real estate investing and get your questions answered during the Real Estate Show with Pat Civitella. Listen Sunday mornings from 9 to 10 for expert information about real estate investing, downsizing, and improvements before selling. Pat will help turn your real estate dreams into reality. Tune in and call The Real Estate Show with Pat Civitella. Sunday mornings from 9 to 10, right here on WICC 600 and 95.9.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
Attention passengers, we've reached 10,000 feet and internet is now available for purchase.
I just paid hundreds for this flight, and you can't even throw in internet? I'll just take the free pretzels.
Sorry, but I do have snack boxes for sale.
I'm just gonna sleep.
In that case, we are selling pillows and blankets as well.
I'll just breathe. That's free, right?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Hey, Joy. Oh, you are glowing.
Oh, hey. More like Mira joyed that Miralax helped me go. I was so backed up. Tried mega coffees, prune juice, everything. Then Miralax. And hello, gentle relief without the harsh side effects.
Ooh, how does it work?
It works naturally with the water in your body for constipation relief. Find Miralax today at Walmart.
Use as directed for occasional constipation.
It's time for the Market Scoreboard Report with Ron and Sana. Now on WICC 695.9, the voice of Connecticut.
Stocks got hammered today as President Trump confirmed that tariffs against Canada and Mexico will go into effect tomorrow, 25% tariffs and a doubling of tariffs on Chinese goods to 20% from 10%. That drove the Dow down as much as 900 points at one juncture, finishing down nearly 650 to 43,191, about a 1.5% decline. The S&P down 1 3/4% or 104 points to 5849. NASDAQ tumbling as semiconductor stocks got absolutely hammered, down 2.6% or 497 points to 18,350. Worries more about growth than inflation weighed on the market and pushed down long-term interest rates, with the 10-year note yield dropping to 4.16%. Similar concerns about oil, about economic growth, about more output coming from OPEC, pushing oil down $1.55 to $68.21 a barrel. Gold, flight to safety, up $50 at $28.99 an ounce. The dollar down across the board, and crypto got hammered today despite the fact that the president announced a strategic crypto reserve. Bitcoin finished down $8,000 at $86,101.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose. And millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
Route 8 northbound accident reported at exit 12A right before the bridge, has things backing up towards Shelton. 95 north an hour, Greenwich to Bridgeport. A few breaks along the way through. Lower Merritt will save you the most time. I'm Andrew Krause with WICC Traffic.
Clouding over this evening with a shower or two late in the low near 40. Showers early tomorrow, over to rain in the afternoon. It will be a windy and mild day. There may be a thunderstorm with a high in the mid-50s. Thursday, cloudy with a high of 55. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
Never miss a moment when you listen through your Amazon Echo.
It's Connecticut Today.
It's Connecticut Today with Paul Pacelli on the voice of Connecticut, WICC 600 and 95.9.
All right. Here's the Chuck Todd piece. Now, during the campaign, if you listen to me, I was one of the people who, and people may say, well, it's only you right-wing nuts on talk radio. No. Anybody with a brain could see that Joe Biden was failing. And anybody with a brain could read in anything easily accessible online as much criticism of Joe Biden as you could find of Donald Trump in some areas. Now, here's the difference. I always say the difference between conservatives and liberals, they essentially say the same thing. I mean, in D.C., you know this, we all know this, everybody knows what the story is. You know that old song, What's the Buzz? Tell me what's happening. Everybody knows that from Jesus Christ Superstar, right? Like I always say, both parties love money. They love money. Republicans will admit it. Democrats say, oh, no. The effect of big money on, no. They both love it, and Republicans admit it. As far as Joe Biden is concerned, how many times did we hear over the past couple of years, hey, the guy's out of it, he's only in it for himself, don't buy the Joe Biden as a family guy, he was so dedicated that he took the train back and forth from Delaware to Washington every day. We heard that, right? There's a true statesman. And most conservatives said, well, that's crap, and you know it, and the other side knows it. But they won't say it. Until they're free and unencumbered of getting in trouble. Recent podcast with Rick Wilson, one of the guys who founded the Lincoln Project. Rick Wilson and Chuck Todd. Remember Chuck Todd? He was the face of NBC. Had a long career at NBC. Host of Meet the Press, right? Well, now he's gone. He may be looking for a new gig. And he and Rick Wilson chose to talk about what they really thought and really heard about that gallant American Joe Biden. Not that Donald Trump is an angel, but Mr. Todd, your thoughts?
The Democratic parties, Joe Biden never should have been there in the first place, right? Number one, he shouldn't have run for president. I completely got so angry at Joe Biden, the man, when I read the transcript of the Hunter Biden trial. And when I realized that not one, not two, but three Biden children, and I count Bo's widow, were all dealing with drug problems in 2018. And Joe Biden said, now's a perfect time to run for president because who cares about our family? I have to tell you something about Joe Biden. There's this mythology about Joe Biden that the man cared so much. It's all bullshit. This man supposedly cared so much about his family that he commuted every day. Guess what? This man cared so much about his political career that he commuted every day, right? Like I could take the same fact and it created a myth, and he did it for 40 years, God bless him, that he was this incredible family man. And instead, what he really was a craven political animal that it was desperate. The man considered or ran for president every 4 years he was eligible. You know why he didn't run in 76? He wasn't 35 yet. That's the only reason.
Wow. Permission to speak freely, sir. Yes, at ease, Lieutenant. What's on your mind? Oh, my God. And they're not hiding that. That wasn't surreptitiously recorded by James O'Keefe. That was on a podcast. Chuck Todd to Joe Biden. Mr. President, blank you and the horse you rode in on. But we all saw Chuck when he was on Meet the Press. And I understand you can't really say that on Meet the Press. But please, after you hear stuff like that, spare me about how gallant, progressive and liberal outlets are in the media. It's only the conservative outlets that think that way. No, you just heard it. And by the way, Jake Tapper, he still has a job. He has a new book out about Biden trashing him. So again, once they're unencumbered, especially in Chuck Todd's case, let it loose, Chuck. How many buses can you toss the guy under? Gary in West Haven's here. Hello, Gary.
Hi, always a great show, Paul.
Thank
Couple of things I'd just like to get off my chest, if I can, please.
Go right ahead.
One is if anybody is really shocked or surprised by what we just heard on that radio show, they must be idiots. Because, I mean, anybody who has ever actually sat around a kitchen table and dealt with family issues the way Joe Biden claimed for so many years could see through the pretense and the bullshit, excuse my language, that he was peddling.
Yeah.
You know, and as for Tiny Tim, the guy who you were just talking to, and you were so
no, Gary, let's not name call here. I know you.
Well, okay.
Yeah, I don't want to name call.
Let's
not do that.
All
Go
right.
ahead. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, what I did not vote for was the kind of bloated, incompetent government that we've suffered with for too long. And what disturbs me very much is when the liberals that will come on and complain about, jump on all over Trump. And he's not perfect. He's got plenty of faults. But the thing is, the man also has a vision, and he's working his tail off to try to make it happen. And that vision, has components that I find it hard to believe that any American would not applaud. Everybody knows that our government is bloated. And yet when we finally get someone who's trying his best to do something about it, something that no other president has accomplished, he gets nothing.
Nope.
And it's like, do they really expect the impact of what he's doing to not cause a little pain? Do they really think that he's going to snap his fingers and suddenly we're going to be back to a manageable government? It's going to be tough. But he's actually trying to do it. And a lot of what he's doing makes sense. I don't see anybody arguing about these horrible statistics that he's releasing. Nobody is acting outraged on the left. They just ignore it. They don't talk about it, and instead they talk about his methodology. And I truly don't understand that. Are they that cynical? Are they that self-absorbed?
I think,
are they that hungry for power?
I think, Gary, thank you for the call. Always good to hear from you, Gary. Thank you. I think that there's two things at work here. And, Gary, once again, thanks for the call. Start to get tight on time. I think there are two things at work here. Number one, they don't really know how to respond to this because, Gary, as you said, hasn't been done for years. The last time it was done over a 3-year period during the Clinton-Gore year. So, number one, they don't really know how to respond to it. Now, they're going to try, I guess, tonight inviting people who lost their jobs. But, Gary, as you said, and believe me, Lord knows I know what it's like to get laid off and fired. Thankfully, it was never for my performance. It was always in this business because of economics. But it sucks. It's where am I going to get money? You start to hit the phones. You're calling everybody you know for part-time work. So there is that. But again, number one, they don't know how to respond. And number two, I think people are giving it a little while before they form an opinion. Now, the first measure of that opinion isn't going to be for about another year or so. We'll know by maybe another 14 months from now whether or not what Trump does or did by that time or is doing is going to register with people because you have the 2026 midterms. So I don't think this is going to be tight in the midterms. In fact, the Senate map, from what I read, is really bad for Democrats, but we're getting way ahead of ourselves. So, number one, as to your point, Gary, I think the opposition to Trump really doesn't know how to react to this. They're hoping that he screws up, he blanks up. You know what I mean? But the problem is for them and for the progressives and the Democrats, if people generally like what's going on, then when you think about it, what exactly is the answer?
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
Route 8 northbound accident reported at exit 12A right before the bridge has things backing up towards Shelton. 95 north an hour, Greenwich to Bridgeport. A few breaks along the way through. Lower Merritt will save you the most time. I'm Andrew Krause with WICC Traffic.
For this evening and overnight, clouding over with a shower or two late and a low near 40. Showers tomorrow morning over to rain in the afternoon. It will be a windy and mild afternoon. There may be a thunderstorm with a high in the mid-50s. Thursday, cloudy with a high near 55. I'm meteorologist Paul Fiorek on WICC.
Connecticut paid leave, making time for life's most important moments.
To recover from illness or injury.
To give your employees peace of mind.
To welcome home an active duty service member.
To help a loved one get better.
To get help for your mental health.
To welcome a new addition to your family.
To leave an unsafe home.
Learn more about accessing the benefits of Connecticut paid leave. Visit ctpaidleave.org.
If you feel like owning a home is out of reach, Rocket is here to give you back the keys because they believe everyone deserves a shot at the American dream. Own the dream. Visit rocket.com or call 800-4ROCKET. Again, that's rocket.com or call 800-4ROCKET.
Back to the news and talk, thanks to Smart MLS. Smart sellers ask, is my home on Smart MLS? The voice of Connecticut. WICC's 695.9. It's Connecticut Today with Paul Piselli.
And you know what? Before news and traffic and weather together and all that, the thing that may save Trump on Ukraine or bail him out on this, as it were, the far right, the extreme right, and the extreme left, remember, in the circle, the continuum of politics, the right and the left meet at the bottom of that circle in their general opposition to being involved in wars. That's the coalition that may save him.
WICC Bridgeport, WFOX Southport, WEBE HD2 Westport, WPLR HD2 New Haven, locally owned by Connoisseur Media.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. The U.S. tariffs against Mexico and Canada have started a trade war.
That's going to hurt people on both sides of the border.
Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says his country will impose tariffs on more than $100 billion worth of American goods over the course of 21 days. And Chris Mavridis in Toronto reports American liquor is being removed from government store shelves.
Ontario controls all the liquor sales in the province, so now that the government here has decided to suspend the sale of U.S. booze, it means restaurants, bars, hotels, and other retailers won't be allowed to restock American beer, wine, and Kentucky bourbon. That's potentially a huge hit considering that last year, Ontario was the biggest single buyer of alcohol in the world, with $1 billion worth of it coming from the U.S.
And prices for fruits and vegetables could soon rise, as Matt Bigler reports.
This time of year, about 90% of the fruits and vegetables sold at the San Francisco produce market are imported from Mexico, and many wholesalers are worried about the 25% tariffs.
It's going to adversely affect our business, no question about it.
Produce broker Mike Richards says higher prices will have to be passed on to consumers.
Things are higher priced, or not as many people are going to buy.
Matt Bigler for CBS News, San Francisco.
President Trump will address a joint session of Congress in a few hours to talk about what he's accomplished so far. House Majority Leader Steve Scalise.
He's going to go into a lot of detail about how his agenda not only is starting to be carried out in just less than 2 months. It's been a riveting pace that President Trump took to start getting our country back on track.
Many lawmakers are already hearing from angry constituents. Allison Keyes reports.
House Speaker Mike Johnson says GOP lawmakers ought to skip those raucous town meetings filled with demonstrators speaking out against the Trump administration's purge of federal workers and budget cuts.
There are people who do this as a profession. They're professional protesters.
But Democratic House Leader Hakeem Jeffries says his party doesn't need paid protesters and that the American people are with us. Allison Keyes, CBS News, Washington.
Jan Crawford reports the Supreme Court is likely to toss out a lawsuit by Mexico accusing American gun makers of fueling drug trafficking and violence.
I think Mexico is obviously going to lose this case. I mean, the justices today on both sides of the aisle, the conservatives and liberals like Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, very skeptical of Mexico's arguments.
The suit has been winding its way through the courts for years. On Wall Street, the market's reacting to the tariffs. The Dow finished the day 670 points lower. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because feeling full can sound like this.
How did the interview go? I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
And like this.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/act now. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
WICC 695.9, Voice of Connecticut Local News Update.
Good afternoon. I'm Chris Williams with WICC News. Your top news story of the afternoon: a Bridgeport teenager accused of killing her boyfriend in an accidental shooting will be tried in court as an adult. 17-year-old Michaela Brown is charged with first-degree manslaughter and first-degree assault in the death of 16-year-old Daniel Grant. He was shot in the face when the pair were handling the weapon in a bedroom of a home on Pacific Street, and it discharged. Brown was 15 years old at the time of the shooting, and she remains free on a promise to appear in court. A Shelton man has pleaded guilty to charges that he used fraud to obtain $145,000 in coronavirus relief funds. Prosecutors say 38-year-old Vincenzo Minutolo defrauded the Paycheck Protection Program by overstating the annual gross income of his company, City Sounds Productions. Minutolo was also accused of providing fraudulent IRS tax documents during the loan process that had not actually been filed with the IRS. He will be sentenced in May. Ansonia police are investigating after a video was posted on social media depicting people trying to rob a man after a minor car crash. The video shows people demanding $500 from the man after the crash Saturday night on East Main Street. The man's wallet and phone were taken during the incident, which played out in front of a crowd of people from a nearby bar. Despite all the spectators, police say not one 911 call was placed over the incident. And a Connecticut veteran who was laid off last month as a result of President Donald Trump's federal workforce purge will be in attendance this evening as Trump addresses a joint session of Congress. Gabriel Delatry served in the United States Marine Corps and was 5 days away from securing permanent employment status at the IRS before being laid off. Delatry will be attending the address as the guest of Connecticut Congressman Joe Courtney, who has introduced legislation that would reinstate veterans who have lost their jobs as a result of the purge. The bill is called the Protect Veterans Jobs Act, which would require any veteran who was removed or dismissed from civil service after January 20th to be eligible to get their job back. President Trump's address is tonight at 9 p.m. And a reminder, we will be carrying that. You can catch it right here on WICC 600 AM, 95.9 FM, and, of course, online at voiceofct.com. I'm Chris Williams with WICC News.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
Wilbur Cross, 15 southbound accident, exit 63, has things backing up into Wallingford. Route 8 northbound residual delays through Shelton going up to the bridge from an earlier problem that has been cleared. And 95 northbound plan on an hour from Greenwich to Bridgeport. Traffic report powered by the Stanford Center for the Arts. Coming to the Palace Stanford, March 20th, it's the music of McCartney and Wings with the McCartney Years. Then April 19th, go full mop top with 1964 The Tribute. Tickets at palacestanford.org. I'm Mitch Krause with WICC Traffic.
Clouding over this evening with a shower or two late and a low near 40. Shower is early tomorrow over to rain in the afternoon. It will be a windy and mild day. There may be a thunderstorm with a high in the mid-50s. Thursday, cloudy with a high of 55. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
You're listening to Connecticut Today with Paul Piselli on WICC 600 and 95.9, the voice of Connecticut.
All righty, 203-333-9422, 333-WICC. By the way, in case you're interested, should let you know that Connecticut U.S. Senator Chris Murphy is going to be teaming up with a couple of Democrats tonight, and he will be hosting what's called a pre-buttal. You know how both sides do this now? So they anticipate what the person who's going to be speaking is going to say, so you do a pre-buttal. Not really a rebuttal, it's a pre-buttal. So if you would like to watch Senator Murphy tonight, he is going to be doing something on the MoveOn.org website. And it's mobilize.us/MoveOn. So he's going to, he is the guy. Listen, love him or not, whatever, that's not the issue. Chris Murphy is going to be with Hawaii Democratic Senator Brian Schatz and comedian Akila Hughes. The trio's live stream being billed as a pre-buttal to the Trump remarks. So you're going to have a comedian there. Okay, I guess. So we'll see what our junior U.S. Senator says. That's tonight, so go stream it. Go check it out. It is billed as a pre-buttal to the Trump remarks. Check it out, moveon.org. Okay. So we'll see, and maybe we'll have some audio from that tomorrow from Mr. Murphy. 203-333-9422, 333-WICC. If you would like to, you can go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/WICC 600 and or /voiceofct.com. Let us know. Are you going to be watching the president's address tonight to a joint session of Congress or listening to it right here on WICC? And listen, to folks answering, yes or no is fine with a couple of words. Please, on both sides of the aisle, could we treat people with a little bit more grace and dignity? Because some of the stuff I'm seeing on the Facebook pages here, sadly, is reflective of 5-year-olds who are fighting with each other. Relax, take a chill out. We're all gonna die. Nobody is getting out of here alive, okay? I mean, the vast majority of people who respond to this, and this is why sometimes I hesitate to put it up, because a lot of you folks act like idiots. One or two people in particular, I think they know who they are. Screaming at somebody and yelling does not change anybody's mind. It makes the crazy animal dig their claws in even more. So I'm asking you, as a purveyor of all that is right, for God's sake, stop acting like kids. Jesus H. Oh, my God. So try to answer that question on our Facebook page, facebook.com/voiceofct. If you can answer like an adult, we'd appreciate that. Or you can email me, or you can send me an obscene text if you'd like to at 203-333-9422, 333-WICC.
Just when you think we're through the worst of this winter, another cold snap hits Connecticut. It's time to warm up with the WICC JSX Big Florida Flyaway. Weekdays at 9 a.m., noon, and 3 p.m. Listen for the keyword to text and qualify to fly JSX round trip out of Westchester to the Florida destination of your choice. Naples, Miami, West Palm Beach, or Boca Raton. Plus, a hotel stay on us. It's the WICC JSX Big Florida Flyaway. Play 3 times a day and think warmer thoughts.
Goodwin University is hosting a business and manufacturing career fair on Tuesday, April 1st from 4 to 6:30 p.m. at 3 Pent Road in East Hartford. Connect with employers who are ready to onboard talent like yours. Don't forget to bring your resume for the opportunity to participate in on-the-spot interviews. Interested in attending Goodwin University's Business and Manufacturing Career Fair on April 1st? Register today at goodwin.edu/career services. Walk-ins welcome. We'll see you there.
Whether your current home security is just a lock and paranoid dog, or if you have an outdated system ready for an upgrade, achieve security and peace of mind when you call the experts at Property Protection Consulting. Go to ppcalarms.com, see their solutions, view their videos, gain simple, state-of-the-art security, all working in concert and fully installed at a low cost. Schedule your complimentary consultation. ppcalarms.com.
Columbia Dental invites you to come to their Norwalk office for your entire family's dental health. It is their mission to provide you with comprehensive dental care you and your family deserve. Visit Columbia Dental in Norwalk, located at 91 East Avenue, open 5 days a week, or visit their Manchester location at 483 Middle Turnpike West, open 7 days a week. Columbia Dental, here for you and your family for regular checkups or emergency visits. ColumbiaDental.com.
Inflation is at a 40-year all-time high, and with a recession looming, having an airtight plan is essential. Understanding your plan and how your money is working for you, not against you, is key.
It comes down to education. Knowledge is power. In this situation, when people get to that point, they understand what they're doing and they get to enjoy their retirement stress-free.
Tune in to Mastering Your Wealth with David Gagnon every Saturday morning at 8, right here on WICC 600.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. Think about your mentors and idols, the people who inspire you the most. While it may look like they have all the answers, they don't. But they do know when to ask questions and seek the support they need. In a world that glorifies hyper-independence, it's easy to forget that we're all better with a support system. Therapy is a great way to find a consistent source of support in your life, so you can break free from the outdated belief that seeking help is a sign of weakness. BetterHelp has experienced therapists ready to help you with challenges ranging from anxiety and depression to relationships and stress. It's convenient, too. You can join a session with the click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy life. You can even send your therapist a message anytime something comes up. Build your support system with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/ABC Radio today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/ABC Radio.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
Wilbur Cross, Route 15 southbound accident, exit 63, has things backing up into Wallingford. Route 8 northbound residual delays through Shelton going up to the bridge from an earlier problem that has been cleared. And 95 northbound plan on an hour from Greenwich to Bridgeport. Traffic report powered by the Stanford Center for the Arts. Coming to the Palace Stanford, March 20th, it's the music of McCartney and Wings with the McCartney Years. But April 19th, go full mop top with 1964 The Tribute. Tickets at palacestanford.org. I'm Mitch Krause with WICC Traffic.
For this evening and overnight, clouding over with a shower or two late and a low near 40. Showers tomorrow morning, over to rain in the afternoon. It will be a windy and mild afternoon. There may be a thunderstorm with a high in the mid-50s. Thursday, cloudy with a high near 55. I'm meteorologist Paul Fiorek on WICC.
He's here to make the Merritt traffic just fly by. It's Connecticut Today with Paul Pacelli on WICC 600 and 95.9, the voice of Connecticut.
Yeah. 203-333-9422, 333-WICC. Text or voice. Children, play nice on Facebook here, or I'm going to have to stop allowing you. Oh, my God. Megan Portfolio's here from the Yankee Institute, the Hartford Portfolio. Good afternoon, Ms. Portfolio. How are you?
Good afternoon, my friend. I'm doing well.
Yeah. I'm dealing with children on social media here, so I've got to get everybody.
Oh, I just heard you say that. I'm going to have to go onto that, the Book of Faces, and see what's going on.
Yes, Voice of CT, and take a look, and you'll see what all I asked people was simple question.
Oh, boy. What have you done, Paul?
Oh, my God. You'd think it's World War freaking III. Oh, my God.
3 and 4.
Yeah, 3 and 4 together. Hey, Megan, you've been pouring through bills. I know that. Bless your heart. You've been watching CTN. So you're sounding the alarm and about another version of what you coined as we're not talking about the wall at Fenway Park, the green monster. What is this about here? Inform my listeners.
So last session, the legislature put in a huge omnibus bill. It was multiple sections, bunch of climate stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
We ended up calling it the Green Monster, and fortunately, it just went away.
Yeah.
Well, it came back, and it came back worse.
Mm-hmm.
So there's it's 58 pages, which was a highlight of my last week combing through. It's about, I forgot, with 24 sections, somewhere around there.
Okay.
It's 24 sections.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of different policies. And this is what I don't get with these people.
Yeah.
There's actually a few things in there that were pro-business. There was 2 sections in there. Like, why don't you just put those things on separate bills? They're fine. I mean, they were fine. I mean, I had no issues with the 2 sections.
Mm-hmm.
It gives, tax incentives.
Sure.
And reduces fees. I love when they reduce fees. I don't just make that a separate bill and go along. But no, we need to use this as a game so we can bill this as like a pro-business bill. Blah blah blah. Well, it starts off with it's mandating greenhouse emissions for state agencies.
Okay.
They want them to slash their emissions 45% below the 2001 levels by 2030.
Okay.
And in order to do this is really
that's
interesting.
that's 4.5 years. That's not a long time.
Oh, well, they want to get to a net zero by 2050. So, I mean, will I still be alive then?
Yeah.
I'll
Oh,
still be alive
stop.
then.
You'll be fine. Yes. Yes.
Trying to think. I'm going to be 50 this June.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wait a minute.
You'll be
Am I still going to be on this planet at that point?
You'll be fine.
No, I'll be here. You'll be stuck with me. But I learned something in this. So as I'm reading the bill, it says, in order to achieve this, agencies are allowed to use social costs in their evaluation on projects. Like, what the heck is a social cost?
Social cost, yes.
And when you hear words like, there's certain words that trigger me, and I knew there was something wrong with this. So I go to the Google and I look it up, and basically it's just how the government makes up a number based on monetary damages caused by greenhouse gas.
Mm-hmm.
It's fuzzy math.
Yeah.
It's literally just made up in order to advance whatever you want to advance. So any project that the state would do, being roads, housing, updates to their buildings, they could actually use this social cost in doing these projects. And it does, and so you were talking about increasing costs for jobs.
Yeah.
But then another part of the bill, which I was laughing at, is it requires the Department of Administrative Services to develop guidelines to remodel and repair all of these state buildings. But I'm like, I just read about 200 testimonies from state employees saying they love working from home.
They don't want to be in the
building.
building.
Going back to the office.
They don't want to be in the buildings. Isn't that what they told us a couple of weeks ago?
And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to have to FOIA the timestamp on these. They were a bunch of anonymous employees, so I'm going to have to see if they were doing this while they were supposed to be working, while they're working at home. But that's a whole other topic that I'll call in on your show on at another time.
Okay.
But why are we doing all of these upgrades to buildings? There's nobody there. So what are you going to install? All these expensive car chargers? Get all the state-of-the-art, heat pumps.
Yeah.
To do what? There's nobody there working. I mean, if you want to try to cut down on emissions, how about we cut down on the amount of buildings and consolidate? I mean, if the unions are adamant, they do not want the state workers going back to the office. They want them at home. The workers want to be at home. Why are we investing money in buildings to upgrade them if no one's using them?
And not to mention the negative economic cost of workers not being they're not buying gas. They're not going to the convenience stores. They're not going to the local deli. They're not going to dry cleaners. I mean, we talked about this, the domino effect of saying, no, we're good. We'll stay home. And we have a governor who says, hey, sorry, I lost in arbitration. What? Excuse me? What?
Yeah, I don't. they do such a terrible job negotiating. I mean, I have to give credit. I don't normally give credit to the unions, but I got to give them credit. They are like the master negotiators. The stuff that they get through, and it's hysterical, and it's like they get played every time.
Yeah.
But that's just the ridiculous part of the bill.
Yeah.
Then it starts to go into they want PURA to explore reducing natural gas. And it doesn't actually say in the bill that they want to phase it out, but I got my hands on some talking points from one of the activist groups, and their talking points clearly said phase out natural gas. Now, I feel like I'm watching, remember that old 80s movie, Sybil, about the woman with the multiple personalities? This is how I feel this session. I feel like I'm watching Sybil, because we're talking about phasing out natural gas.
Yeah.
Then we've got Governor Lamont saying, well, we need to have an all-above solution to our energy prices. And then there's some other bills about, increasing natural gas. And then you come to this and we're phasing it out. I'm like, you guys, what is going on over there in Hartford?
Yeah, I mean, here you have essentially the boss, right? The governor. The governor is saying, hey, and you're right. And I was heartened by the governor saying that a couple of months ago. Hey, we need to expand natural gas. Maybe the LNG, that's different. It's a little more polluting. But he said a little of everything, all of the above. And now you hear, as you say, stuff you found, thank God, say, well, no, we're not going to do that. Who's in charge here, Megan? Who's the boss here, if I might ask, rhetorically?
Normally I say the unions, but they are not yet mentioned in this bill. They had the public hearing on Monday. So, of course, the union bosses are out, and they're like, we like this bill, and we demand, you put in stipulations that any work done, be union work. And I'm like, all right, guys, is this about the climate, or is this about making you guys richer? Because union jobs, they call them project labor agreements.
Mm-hmm.
They jack up the price of all these projects. So if climate's such an emergency, wouldn't you think that we would, try to do it in the most cost-effective way so we can get more projects done? Like just in housing alone, it's 14% more. I think it was $43,000 more per unit in California when they were building some affordable housing to go with the union. So that means that is less housing that you're going to be able to build because they're going to go union. Yeah. But it's not in the bill yet, but I anticipate a revision coming, demanding that anything done with the environment has to be done by union labor. So we got that. And this is another fun part.
Yeah, go ahead.
It gives my buddies over at DEEP a little more authority in the rulemaking process.
Yeah.
They're mandating. So I talked about the state agency greenhouse gas reduction targets, but they also have targets statewide.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, DEEP is allowed to, basically invent rules and regulations in order to get that down. And that could be a gas car ban, that could be or a gas stove ban, it could be a whole slew of things. No, they would still have to go through the normal regulation process. Like they can't just invent it out of the air and deem it approved. Mm-hmm. It has to go through the regulation committee, but that's not the same as it going through a full legislative vetting, public hearing. Nope. Literally, I think there's 5 people that watch the regulation meetings. They're very quick. It's usually everything usually passes. The only thing I've really seen cause like a stir was the gas car ban.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see if you're going to make these sweeping policy changes that could affect our electric rates or energy rates. I'd like that to go through I want my representatives.
Just have an open debate, have an open vote.
Yeah,
if we're going to do
public.
Yes.
The public doesn't know what's going on at the Rules and Regulation Committee meeting. Most of the media doesn't know because they're super boring. Like I said, I try to read through the dockets or the. All the stuff that he put out on it. It's super boring.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of them. So that's another thing that was, very, very silly.
Megan, here's what I think. If we just let the markets do what they do, and eventually everybody will own an energy-efficient home, everybody will have an energy-efficient stove, the cars get more efficient every year. There's no reason to jam this stuff through because oftentimes you never reach the targets. You just never do. It doesn't happen.
And they provide all these incentives and like all this cash. So if I'm a manufacturer and I make this energy efficient product and I know I'm getting guaranteed money from the government, why am I going to? I'm not incentivized to lower my price. like with other products. Like, remember when like the Blu-ray players came out? They were super expensive. But then after, the rich people buy them, there's no one left to buy it. And then they start lowering the price.
Yeah.
And they came down very quickly. And then all of a sudden everyone's got a Blu-ray player.
Yeah.
I know I'm dating myself with that. We don't do Blu-rays anymore.
Right.
But you're right. I mean,
No,
it's
I
like
know
you let these guys, the market is smart. They are always inventing new products. I worked in manufacturing.
Yeah.
You don't, if you say stale and you say stagnant, your company goes under. You have to constantly reinvent, new products and new reasons to buy the products. And if you can make like a car that, it's all electric and it runs for 1,000 miles. I mean, that's something people are going to want.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have to give you credit, though. I didn't think I would hear somebody mention a Blu-ray player when I got
I
out of
know.
bed.
I told you I was old at the beginning of this call.
Megan Portfolio writes the Hartford Portfolio blog of the Yankee Institute. Megan, thanks, and keep reading those bills, and we'll talk to you next week, all right?
I had like 4 of them to read for my column on Friday.
Okay. All right.
Wish me luck.
Bye. Good luck, Megan. Thank you. Folks, yes, this is why I have her on, because she reads. Some of these bills are 2, 3, 4, 500 pages. She reads all of these bills, and she watches CTN, which is the equivalent of C-SPAN. She watches that all day, all night, every single day.
WICC Smart MLS Right Now Traffic.
Wilbur Cross, Route 15 southbound accident, exit 63, has things backing up into Wallingford. Route 8 northbound residual delays through Shelton going up to the bridge from an earlier problem that has been cleared. And 95 northbound plan on an hour from Greenwich to Bridgeport. Traffic report powered by the Stanford Center for the Arts. Coming to the Palace Stanford, March 20th, it's the music of McCartney and Wings with the McCartney Years. Then April 19th, go full mop top with 1964 The Tribute. Tickets at palacestanford.org. I'm Edge Krause with WICC Traffic.
Clouding over this evening with a shower or two late and a low near 40. Showers early tomorrow, over to rain in the afternoon. It will be a windy and mild day. There may be a thunderstorm with a high in the mid-50s. Thursday, cloudy with a high of 55. I'm meteorologist Paul Piorek on WICC.
A.G. Williams Painting. A.G. Williams Painting. The people you trust to do the job right.
Imagine your house perfectly painted. Fresh colors, clean lines, looking better than ever. And now imagine a painting experience that's just as good. We're talking friendly painters, easy communication, and never feeling in the dark. With A.G. Williams Painting, you don't have to imagine it.
A.G. Williams Painting. The people you trust to do the job right.
A.G. Williams Painting has been painting in your neighborhood since 1906, and they know how to do it right. You'll love their team, too. A.G. Williams Painting has career craftspeople who are totally dedicated to their work and invested in your project. That means peace of mind and a paint job you can be proud of.
A.G. Williams Painting. A.G. Williams Painting. The people you trust to do the job right.
Professor, how did you crack where these big prizes come from on the multiplier scratch tickets?
Greta and I had a lot of coffee.
We discovered the prizes jumped by 5, 20, 50, and even 100 times.
$200,000 in a single scratch.
Professor, so the big question, who solved it?
I did.
Play the new multiplier scratch tickets from the Connecticut Lottery. Multiply your wins and maybe enjoy your own eureka moment.
Overall odds by game: 5x, 1 in 4.25, 20x, 1 in 4.06, 50x, 1 in 3.72, 100x, 1 in 3.55. Must be 18 or older. Problem gambling helpline. Call 888-789-7777.
This is WICC 695.9, the voice of Connecticut.
CBS News Brief. U.S. tariffs went into effect against Mexico and Canada today. House Speaker Mike Johnson defending the decision.
All these countries around the world have taken advantage of America. The America First agenda is to reset those relationships.
Reporter Lana Zak on Canada's Prime Minister imposing retaliatory tariffs.
He addressed specifically the American people, and he wanted to say that this isn't anything that Canada wants to do, but they feel like it is necessary.
Christian Hernandez manages an industrial supply company in Yuma, Arizona.
Everything's going to cost more to build, or to fix. If you're repairing something or building something, it's going to cost more to do it now.
President Trump will address a joint session of Congress in a few hours. House Majority Leader Steve Scalise.
Leadership matters, and I think you're going to see great, strong leadership tonight.
On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrials reacting to tariffs off 670 points. CBS News Brief, I'm Cammie McCormick.
WICC 695.9, Voice of Connecticut Local News Update.
Good afternoon. I'm Chris Williams with WICC News. Your top news story of the afternoon, Westport Republican First Select Woman Jen Tooker is running for governor. Tooker made the announcement yesterday, saying Connecticut families have been burdened by high taxes and rising costs for years. She also says the state has been burdened by a state government that lacks accountability. Tooker is running on a platform of fiscal responsibility and, if elected, plans to address energy costs, state employee costs, and turn Connecticut cities into tech hubs. Tooker is one of several Republicans who have announced a bid for the office, including New Britain Mayor Aaron Stewart and former U.S. Senate candidate Matt Corey. Tooker has previously served on the Board of Finance and the Board of Education. Democratic incumbent Ned Lamont has not revealed whether he will be seeking a third four-year term. Yesterday, Norwalk Mayor Harry Rilling has announced that he will not be seeking re-election this coming November after holding the office for the past 12 years. Before becoming mayor in 2013, Rilling spent 41 years in the Norwalk Police Department, including 17 years as police chief. In a conversation with